Duh.
Yes.
Do we need to? Should we send this link out? Is it a different link?
Yeah, post it. It's a different link. Post it across the world.
Let me copy this. I'm gonna send this to everyone.
Wait. Let me give you the link to post out, though. All right, there's the new link.
Okay, word.
There you go. And I'm gonna post it out too. My apologies. When I came back in, it said it was live, and then it wasn't.
Can we post that link public that you gave me?
Yeah. No. Don't do that one. Hold on. Here, you do that one.
That's what
my buddy Jeff said as soon as we started talking about Burning Man that it went to Shit Show Town.
Yeah, that was weird. Okay, sorry. I'm pretty sure that was me.
That's why, well, you're really not supposed to talk about Burning Man in public, so.
I know, right? Exactly. They get this shit on
That's
lock.
what you get. You said the words.
I wondered, Kelly, when I shared the other one and I told you that the Asian gal's photo was on there, that apparently I was not supposed to share that link. But
yeah,
anyway,
that's the link that everyone can get into if they want to talk. Oh, and by the way, Gio is watching, and he says he likes your hat, and he said, "What's up?"
This is actually a M State by Winter Caps. It's a genuine leather, large. I bought this right around the same time last year. And when I started wearing it, everybody was like, your hat, it looks so new. So I had to kick it around for a little bit and take it to Burning Man, throw it in the front, all that good stuff.
And it worked. Now it looks better.
It did work. So thank you so much for the compliments on the hat. I appreciate it very much.
Big shout out to Gio Lopez for some hat noticing action.
Absolutely. Your hat game is on point.
Shout out to Jeff Creasy. What's up, homeboy?
It's your hat. He loves your hat.
Yeah.
I mean, your hat's not too shabby itself. It really brings out the chops.
This is the real shit, though, right here.
Boom, look at him doubling up. Oh, man.
My hat almost looks like my stickers.
That fresh, huh?
It's
nice.
pretty close to it, my friend.
Right there, see?
There you go. You need the sunglasses.
There's actually people that think that's not me. The other big misconception that happens the first time I meet people is that
totally looks like you. Who thinks that? That totally looks like you.
Yeah, they're wrong.
If they haven't met me. No, if they haven't met me, they just assume that I made up some cartoon. These are not the Ray-Bans, but they do get pretty close.
That is
yeah.
That is pretty close. It's like a Terminator versus Wes Smith type thing you got going on there.
Almost.
I dig it. I dig it. If you could turn into some kind of melted metal, that'd be great.
Well, while we're having quizzes and stuff, this is a good one. Where do you think that this picture was taken? Give it a guess.
Let's see. I would say
in your bedroom.
No, you know why it wasn't in my bedroom? Because the apartment wasn't big enough to have a bedroom.
I had one of those.
I would guess either Chicago.
So I took the shower curtain out of the bathroom and stuck it in the living room, which was the only room. And I don't remember who took the picture, but there it is.
That's awesome. That's a dope shower curtain.
It is.
It was cool. I thought it was like a New York bus or something. So
yeah, back to the most urban shower ever. Like, does it smell like pee in there?
The whole place smells like whatever.
like the steps of a parking ramp.
Hey! Back to Burning Man. We'll see if we don't get
Burning Man.
Yeah.
cut off again. I don't want to lose our Burning Man conversation because you guys
Absolutely.
are there. So, how much fun did you have this year?
A whole lot.
It was amazing.
For me, honestly, it was one of the most brutally beautiful experiences I've ever had in my entire life. I'm sorry?
Is that your first?
Yeah. That was actually my first big man. We've done the 3 regionals for Tennessee so far, and that was actually my first big man. I've got some buddies. Where are my keys at? Will you grab my keys real quick? Got some buddies that they were camped at 745 and Esplanade, and they were part of an art card called the Pearl Necklace. And this is This is the pearl necklace. Where's the camera? It's over here somewhere. There you go.
Right in the middle. See that fucking green light right there? That's the camera.
So this is pearl necklace. This is the keychain they gave us, and they had over 50,000 watts on this art car.
It's a pirate ship.
And yeah, it was a huge pirate ship. They had LED sails and stuff. It was amazing.
Hardcore power.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. They had 330,000. They had 3 like 25K generators powering it. It was absolutely nuts. I've got a buddy. His name is Jason Turner, and he runs full spectrum lighting from Nashville. So I found out that he was there, that he was camped like a few blocks behind us, and I went, hung out with them one night, and then the next day this is kind of funny, but the next day I got completely smashed that night, and it was like 7 o'clock in the morning.
He doesn't drink though,
and I don't drink very much, but it was about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I saw them take off across Esplanade. So I saw these guys take off across Esplanade, and I was like, all right, I'm going out there. So I'm wearing a gorilla onesie and this dope-ass hat, and I take off trucking across Esplanade, and I get just past the man, and there's this one lone bicycle hanging out in the middle, and I look at it and I eye it up, and I just kept on trucking, man, and I made it all the way out to this pirate ship, and Crystal Method were playing, and they were having a wedding, and it was crazy, and they were parked at.
They were both there, but I think only one of the dudes was playing. But
no,
yeah.
they were both playing. Yeah, they were both up on the playing side, but anyhow, I got all the way there. I'm wearing my gorilla onesie. I'm sweating. I'm drunk, and just total shit show. And I went to Shelly's wedding, and I was very respectful of the wedding. And Crystal Method started playing, started chatting with those guys, and then we actually invited them back. We camped with Dustfish, which is actually the oldest camp on Esplanade consecutively now. Before that, it was Camp Carp. And Camp Carp stepped out for the past 2 years. So at Dustfish, we were camped at 7 o'clock in Esplanade. So we invited them back to come hang out and throw a little party after the man burned, and they did. We played Sunrise on the pirate ship called the Pearl Necklace, and it was badass.
Wow, dude, that's a pretty awesome story.
It is. It's you don't usually walk across the desert 5 miles in a gorilla onesie, but I mean, when you do, hopefully you get to play on a pirate ship.
Now, did you say gorilla onesie?
Gorilla onesie, yes, I did.
What exactly does that look like?
It looked like Ombre before he went missing.
Can we get a picture of a gorilla onesie?
I think
I thought you were gonna ask something else. Okay, sure.
Peaslee, stay well.
Yeah, I think he's going to pick up the gorilla onesie.
Is this
okay?
Is this what we're talking about? Something like these?
That's pretty much exactly what he's talking about. Yeah.
I think my favorite is this one.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I can, without any doubt, say it's the first time we've discussed gorilla onesies, or maybe onesies of any kind.
Do you have a onesie, Wes?
I do not have a onesie. I feel
you don't
like
have anyone.
I feel like it's something I need to get.
Everybody needs a onesie. I don't have one yet either, though. Oh, he's bringing it.
I have a skeleton.
The only thing that holds me back from the onesie, really, is that my camp is Camp Charlie, and that's a unicorn.
I love that art card, by the way. I thought it was hilarious.
Is it not hilarious, dude?
I really wanted to go to Candy Mountain.
So
all right, so here comes the gorilla onesie.
Yeah, finding a unicorn onesie is a little interesting.
This is the infamous gorilla onesie that walked across the playa.
Show me the hood.
What?
Yeah,
that's high quality, dude.
Check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, his teeth are
that's high
quality. He needs to go to the dentist. But this is infamous gorilla onesie that made it 5 miles across Esplanade.
The best part of that story is him coming back and sitting down with feet up in one chair and sitting in another chair and passing out with it like pretty much zipped down to his waist, just sweating profusely, dying.
Like,
trying to give him water. He pretty much cussed me out. He's like, "Fuck you, I don't need it." I'm like, "Dude, your bed is right there. Go fucking lay down." I'm fine. he was fucking pissed off that he slept in the chair. Like I told him not to. It was hilarious. He almost fucked his own bird.
Yeah.
Onesie,
Gorilla onesies will get the best of you.
that onesie looks like that thing looks like a cross between Paul Frank and Frank from Donnie Darko.
Like honestly, like this guy right here, like that's a pretty scary face, and I don't know because it was quite lovely like during the evening, but during the daytime, I'm sure my face probably looked like the gorilla's face because shit show.
Yeah, it was a shit show.
Now
he made it. He lived.
I did.
If you make the sleeves really long, if you make the sleeves really long and then put weights at the bottom of them, and then you can
Oh yeah, nice, dude. I like that. Get like a little
really long sleeves and weights, and then I saw somebody like that one time. I think it was Opulent Temple, and I was like, that's the best costume ever.
One of the ones I really like is the guy Bunny from Rabbit in the Moon. He did that like green outfit where he had like stilts, and he was like New York City or some shit. Like that was so fucking dope.
That was dope. I remember that.
I'm telling
Rabbit in the Moon.
This is what's up. See, look, there you go, Paul Frank, and there you go, Donnie Darko.
It's like super cute and super dark.
Excellent.
You're totally on that vibe, dude.
You know what? They should come out with a new film called Jarl Darko, and then like I'll just run. Basically, like they can just film me at Burning Man for a week, getting smash face, running around the desert, and
dying of sweat.
So hey, would you guys be first timers? Both of you first timers this year?
Yeah, that was my first big man too. Yep.
Wes, you should look up Pirate ShYo.
It was my third. And all I was going to say was, I feel like it would be great for some first timers to explain to future first timers, like what it's like to go, like top 5 things to do to go to.
Okay, number 1.
Can we do top 5 things not to do?
Yeah, I was gonna say number 1. Don't get roofied.
Both. Let's do not and 2. Top 5 not to do first. That's probably fun.
Top 5 not to do.
Number 1. Don't get roofied.
Don't get roofied.
Someone slipped me something on was it Thursday morning? I don't know if it was GHB or Rufinol or what, but it was fine. I'd been drinking all night. I'm from Wisconsin, so I can handle that kind of thing. And took a sip from this guy's flask. 20 minutes later, I fucking looked at my buddy Scrubby and said, dude, I got to head back to camp. And he was like, really? He's like, wow, you're kind of fucked up. And I'm like, yeah. And I fucking walked back to camp. I ran into his wife on the way back. Said I didn't even recognize her. I got like a huge rope burn like on my side. I don't know if someone tried to rip my backpack off of me or what, but I went back home, slept in the tent for a little bit, slept in the AC in my buddy's camper for a little bit, and then woke up and got a saline IV and was good to go. We went back looking for the guy, but
yeah,
we didn't find him.
Honestly, so it's really weird from my perception compared to most people who have not done regionals. If they just go to the big man without doing regionals, my perception came from someone who's done regionals for years in a row. So with the intimacy of the regionals, learning the principles and all of those things, going to the big man, it probably just depends on who you're camped with and where you're at and all that together. But I actually, for me, this was actually a hard burn. Most of the burns for me have been more so about self-acceptance and being able to persevere, to follow your dreams, and just constantly, accept people and the world the way that it is, but also try to make it a better place. And this year, it actually ended up being more about loss and more so about having to really keep your guard up, but without being like standoffish. I suppose, like I said, he got roofied. I actually knew a few other people that were part of DPW, which is the Department of Works.
People that have been there for like 12 years.
12 years. Yeah. And, these kind of things happen to them also. There was speculation whether it was like a lot of the old burners trying to keep new people from coming. We
or
really
discouraging
don't know.
people from coming back. But that was one of the rumors that was going around because 3 people from our camp got hit the same day that I did. One guy who's been with DPW building the man for like 12 years, and his buddy who's been doing it for like 14 or some shit like that. Both of those guys got hit. The last night, the guy who was doing power for Dustfish, Tim Whitehaven, he got hit. Like, I mean, that's why, I was the only one that was there for the first time that it got hit. All the rest of these people, like, have been there, like, building and striking for years upon years. So if that was their intention, they only got one person that really they were trying to discourage from coming back. And all I can say is, fuck that dude if I ever see him.
I do suggest. Because
I'm going back. So
yeah, and we'll definitely be back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't with those things that happened. It wasn't a bad burn. It's absolutely amazing. There's no words.
I
to
didn't
describe
have a bad
it.
burn. I didn't give a
Yeah, there are no words to describe it. I personally feel this way. I know that radical self-reliance and radical self-inclusion includes everybody. Nobody is not allowed to come to Burning Man. But I do suggest this. I do suggest those that go to Burning Man go to a regional first. And it may not be like that for everyone, and this is just my own opinion, but I think that with the regionals, you learn the principles, you understand the intimacy and how everything works, and then you can go to the big man and apply those things instead of going and being a sparkle pony having no idea what goes on, because the big man is no joke. Like
that is a really good point, because and we've only made it to item number 1, by the way. That is
we got to move along, huh?
No, we're in really no rush. Shit, we increased our storage space for the podcast files after we're done. We're good. What I was going to say though was that makes a lot of sense, and I hadn't really thought about that, because for me, my experience was I got brought into it through some people I had known for 10 or more years already anyway,
right.
And they were kind of like my, not mentors, guardians, whatever, like they really like kind of, sort of out through my first, a different experience perhaps than yours. But yeah, I think that's a great tip. So there you got a top 5 not and a top 5 do all in one shot.
Pretty much.
But hell yeah, son, we're checking off.
I did think it was absolutely amazing.
I would say I've got the same suggestion too. I think last year when Wes and I were there, I went to go clean at like 8 in the morning, and somebody drank a 5-hour energy that they found, and the same thing happened with them. And we had to go to the medics. It was pretty bad. So don't get roofied. Okay, number 2 would be.
I know for sure there are some people listening to this that are interested in this. So number 2.
Number 2, good or bad? I would say number 2. Let's go top 5 things that are probably bad that you should worry about Burning Man. The dust. Everybody says they love playa, they love the dust and all that other good stuff, but the dust is dangerous. The alkaline of the dust is -8, and a lot of people don't realize this. But if you quick chemistry breakdown, if you have an alkaline and then you have everything that is alkaline, then you have things that are mostly acid and then mostly bases. And the dust there is a -8. So if you use vinegar in baby wipes or anything, as you're washing your feet and stuff like that, so you don't get playa foot, the dust is definitely one of those things that you cannot get away from. It's in everything. You have to learn. You have to know how to watch yourself to not get eaten by the dust. So
yeah, if you're gonna do tent camping, get like a small tent and put it inside of a bigger tent. That'll help keep the dust out of your sleeping area. You can store all your shit around the tent, like on the inside. The best thing I would say is get an RV, because
I think you just
ice maker. Bring an ice maker. Always bring an ice maker with your RV.
They come clutch.
What else?
Let's see.
Bring music. Bring art.
Yeah, bring music and bring art.
Try and see as much as you possibly can, because there's honestly just no fucking way to explain what the experience is like. No amount of video, no amount of conversation, stories, pictures. Like nothing will ever compare to actually being there.
Yep, absolutely.
So just go, but be prepared when you go. On the ticket it says, what does it say? It says certain injury and possible death. That's a very fucking true statement.
Very much so. If you are a tent camper and you're going for your first time camping in a tent, be as prepared as possible. I would say it's really hard for me to say that there's anything bad about the burn, even though like certain things happened that weren't good. But I would have to say that leave no trace is another one of those things.
It's like the most important thing.
I think it is the absolute most important thing. Everybody there, Burning Man has been known as the world's cleanest festival or art gathering for years and years and years. And leave no trace doesn't mean to leave no trace like at the end go through, pick everything up. It means as you're constantly there, you're constantly picking up after yourself and others, which, yes, it's not your responsibility, but yes, it is still your responsibility. Yeah. So leaving no trace is actually a big thing for us also. We, take an ash can. There are these little things out there called fairy shrimp. Do you guys know about the fairy shrimp?
No.
Oh, do tell.
Okay, so check this out.
We thought it was bullshit.
We totally thought it's bullshit. When you get 70,000 people together and you start talking about it, everybody thinks you're ridiculous when you say fairy shrimp. They're thinking like little shrimp with light up wings and all kinds of shit. It's not. There are these organisms that actually live on playa, and this is why they don't want you to dump water in your campsites. They actually ask you to dump your cooler waters and stuff like that in the roadways because of this thing. There's an organism that is out on playa called fairy shrimp. And their life expectancy, they're very, very tiny. They're like microbial organisms almost or whatever. But basically, here's the deal. So their life expectancy is only 3 months. And within that 3 months, there is actually a wet season that happens out on playa where it rains and there's a small amount of water that's left across playa. Within the first month, the first round of fairy shrimp hatch. And as they hatch, they go to feed off plankton. So they're actually herbivores, and they just sit and they feed off plankton and algae and things like that that are left over. A month and a half afterwards, the second round of fairy shrimp are hatched, and they actually feed on the first round of fairy shrimp. So when you go and you actually pour water out on playa, it can cause the fairy shrimp to hatch. And with that amount of people that are out there, if everybody's pouring water out into the sand, what'll happen is it messes up their ecosystem. And so I had a gentleman, his name was Clyde. And Clyde had the cleanest tent camper area.
He does the Icarus art car too.
Yeah, he works with Icarus. And so this guy,
that thing is awesome, by the way.
I know, dude. Isn't that thing fucking dope?
So check this out. I was actually talking to him about it one of the nights that we were there. The guy actually sells the world half the year, and the other half of the year he comes and he looks for anomalies that are in the US, and he drives to all these random little spots and checks out these weird little anomalies, and fairy shrimp were one of the things that he has studied. And so what he had done was he brought an aquarium with him to Burning Man. It's awesome. He took playa dust and he put it in the bottom of the aquarium, had a little
like from right outside his tent. He put his tent and then grabbed playa dust from right outside his tent and put it in the aquarium.
Put a little filtration system on it and basically hatched the fairy shrimp. And whenever you want to see them, basically you have the fish bowl that's up there and you set a light to the side of it and it comes in through the side so you can see them. And they're like little plankton almost, but they shimmer like this little gold color.
Check it out. Look at my screen. There's what they look like right there.
Yeah, they are. Those are fairy shrimp.
What?
They are real.
It was amazing.
Real thing.
Yeah, that's Icarus too.
And that is the Icarus car.
Yeah,
I have fairy shrimp outside.
Yeah?
Yeah, I live on a boat, and there's a whole bunch. It's not the same thing, but there's a whole bunch of shrimp on the ladder.
Oh, okay, right.
Close enough, right?
Fairy shrimp for you.
They look just like.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's how we get more unicorns.
So yeah,
as real as it gets. As real as it gets in unicorn world, bro.
That's what I'm talking about. They look like they could make one Pop-Tart. That's all I'm saying.
One of our camp slogans is unicorning so hard, and I pretty much think this is that.
That's the opposite.
Yeah, I saw you wearing that shirt in a post like a few days ago. Like, I'm unicorning so hard, and I'm like, that is fucking genius.
Unicorn and right there.
Unicorn there.
Getting dirty. All right.
So, Miss Ross, is that your comfort corn that you're holding, or is that just? Tell us about this unicorn.
This is my unicorn. I actually bought this for Wes, but I kept it because it was cool.
Sorry, Wes. Damn it. Another unicorn lost.
It was at $5 and Below. It was $5, and it lights up, but it doesn't really light up anymore because.
We're on episode 16 now. I think by the time we reach like 20, I'm just going to be unimportant. Period. If anybody listening wants to humble herself, including the current hosts and guests, anyone wants to humble themselves, start a podcast and talk to people.
Right.
Hey, by the way, I'm Kelly, Agent 137. Nice to meet you.
It's wonderful to meet you. Wonderful to meet you guys.
He often forgets to introduce me, so.
My job is to keep this interesting, friends.
Absolutely. And honestly, just to go ahead and clear this out too, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys.
Yeah,
we really appreciate the opportunity to sit here and chat with you guys. And I know we've got much more to chat about, but this is yeah, that's right. I'll keep it up all day long. Hey, that's how you become a grassroots artist right there. You just keep going.
Here. Yeah, notice those are $1 bills. Those are not on these.
They add
It's the most
up.
money I've seen in weeks.
They add up, my friend. They add up.
Oh shit! I remember when we were camping in Serendipity.
We're glad to have you.
What's number?
You were sleeping in your tent or whatever, and I was fucking outside being all loud, and I was like, "Oh shit, dude!" I'm like, Wes probably wants to fucking shoot me right now because he's trying to sleep, and I'm just being annoying. And then like a half hour later, you popped your head out, and you're like, "Dude, you're fucking hilarious." And I'm like, "Sweet, I didn't kill a friend."
It's still funny. That's why we're here today. What's number 3? Damn it! I'm trying to get to number 3.
Okay, number 3.
You got to think about it like this. There's somebody, at least one person, that's like, okay, dude, I know I asked Wes or other people about like what to do to go to Burning Man, and they were like, watch this next episode. I promise we'll cover some things. And they're like, son of a bitch, it took 37 minutes to get to of the things not to do, and we got 5 still to do.
I got one. Climb on all the things. Just climb on everything.
Yep. Get on every art car you can. Yep.
All the art cars, all the sculptures, anything that you can actually climb on, spin around, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Climb on all the things.
Yeah. Go as close to the man as you can. Go up in the temple. Like just get involved when you're there. Like go there and really like, even if you're tired, like you're only there for fucking 7 days.
Yeah, you do have to dig deep. And I will say,
push through.
Climbing on things is super fun, but do be careful. Like, don't do it fucked up because
absolutely.
There are people that cut themselves.
Oh yeah.
You fall because your senses aren't with you. Maybe you catch an arm or a toe.
What are you, an insurance guy right now? Just climb on all the things. Climb on all the things.
It hurts.
Hang on a second. I got a call. I think it's Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake?
All right.
No, there was a girl last year that was on the front of an art car.
That's Jake, dude. That's Jake.
Right there. Up.
Jake
fell
on
up. Got ran over.
Time.
There's also an Amber Alert in Minnesota. That's for you,
okay, let's
everything in moderation. Okay, everything in moderation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Drink lots of Gatorade.
Lots of
Gatorade because you can be dehydrated while you're drinking water, or taking a piss. You got to have salt, in order for your kidneys to like.
Yeah, you have to have the salts. You can drink as much water as you want to, but it is dangerous to just only have water. They tell you to consume like 1.5 gallons a day or something crazy like that. And realistically, yes, it will hydrate you, but without the salts, so without the electrolytes and things like that, you definitely have to have tons of salt.
I have a pretty simple guide for that, and this may or may not surprise you, but it's it's actually why I never had a problem with it, and no one ever told me about it. So I'm a runner, and I've been more of a runner in certain days past or forward than I am right now at the moment. But if someone's seriously listening and they're trying to figure out like what the hell does all that mean, go look at what they recommend for running, like for hydration, just hydration. Go look at what they and you can find these all over the place. Go look at what they recommend for a marathon runner, and just follow that, and you'll be
You'll be golden.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't realize like a marathon runner. Well, the really fast ones might be faster, but let's say 3 hours, 4 hours. That's a pretty average Joe marathon time. And then there's people that do even longer, like Ironmans or half Ironman triathlons.
Right.
You can get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours long. Go. You don't need to be one of them, but go look at what they recommend for hydration, and you'll be.
Yep.
Absolutely. Endurance is key.
They have the same problem with the electrolytes and the nutritional, not just the water. So.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. The nutrition on that is key. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people go out there and you don't realize it, but you're out there for multiple days. You don't hardly eat anything because of festivities and from the time you're waking up and all kinds of things like that. So it's really hard to keep those salts in your body, so that way as you're sweating and losing all of this weight and stuff, that you can actually stay coherent and you don't duff out, out into the floor somewhere when you're dancing one night. And
that's why I have this thing I make. You're gonna laugh at this or not, but keep talking.
Too late.
Keep talking. I'll find. Well, you're gonna really laugh when I tell you what it is, but keep talking and I'll show you a picture.
All right, let's think about something else to for sure. One of the coolest things to do is have your friends bring in all of your shit and set up your tent for you and buy all your supplies, and then you fucking fly in and to Reno and take the Burner Express in. That's what you need to do. That's what I did. Do that. It's awesome.
Take plenty of pictures. Take plenty of pictures. And make sure you post them all.
Which also brings us to number 5 on the bad side. Don't let one of your friends make you take all their shit with them, so that way you have to set everything up for them and get everything rolling, so that way when they get there they can just live that cush life. Don't do that. Don't do that.
It was glorious. My tent was set up. The only thing I had to do was blow up my air mattress. It was fucking beautiful. So thanks, man.
Spatchcock, that is the best chicken ever.
This is one of my favorite terms in the culinary world. Spatchcock. It's just fun to say.
Yes,
spatchcock.
Fun to eat too.
So I drag a trailer out to Burning Man, and it's my own trailer. It's cool. I travel in it quite a bit during the year anyway. But what I was gonna say about back to the hydration and the salts and those things, I cook one of these maybe every other day. Like I brought 4 of them out there this year, I think. And I kind of share them with my camp because I'm not trying to eat the whole thing and it's gifting and all that. But if you read through this recipe and anyone interested, you can find it. It's a hell of a thing anyway, even if you're not at Burning Man. But it's aromatic whole grilled chicken. Just look for that. And you grill it or cook it in an oven. But at Burning Man, you'd have to pretty much grill it. It takes a few hours, but it's cool. You just set it and forget it kind of deal,
Right.
And
That's what I'm talking about.
And it's totally marinated and not marinated, but rubbed in a lot of different salts and seasonings that are salty.
Yeah.
And those really. So what's funny is this. I've probably cooked this 50, maybe 100 times, over since I learned how to do it. And at Burning Man in particular, I use the same recipe as I would use here in San Diego at a home barbecue or something. And people are always like, "Oh, that's cool. I like it. It's really good. It's tender. It's all that." Like the typical kind of barbecue thing with a slow cooked or, smoked meat. At Burning Man, I kid you not, I literally double the salt type items. There's about 15 spices. I literally double them. Yep. And people eat it and they're like, "Oh my God, it's the best chicken I've ever had in my entire life." What did you do to this?
It's so good.
What? We had a guy.
But I also know it's because so many of those people that eat it are missing those salts and electrolytes.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Their body is going, "Holy shit, I've been eating granola bars or nothing for 2 days."
Yeah, and they're like, "Thank you."
Exactly. We actually had a gentleman we were hanging out. So we camped with Dustfish, and Dustfish this year, 2 years ago, the founder passed away, and his name was Lord. And this year they built these commemorative steps to him, which were basically the same steps that he had outside of his house when the director, her name is Opal, they used to live together. And so when Lord passed away, they built these steps to commemorate him. And so basically we have a buddy, our buddy Shrubby came out with this, and he does hippie fishing or raver fishing. And basically we put blinky shit on the end of light poles. We have like a certain steps that you have to go through to actually do the hippie fishing. But you cast out blinky stuff, and you watch people pick it up for moop, and then we reel them in, and then we feed them shots of alcohol and stuff, and it's this great, awesome
No reviews in our alcohol.
So, yeah. So this year they actually he was really excited because he was like, oh, guys, they built me a dock. They built me a dock to fish off of. And it was one of the coolest things because it wasn't just a dock. It was a dock with bleachers. And we would have multiple people come and sit at the top of these steps and just watch us fish all night long. And we'd reel one of them in right after the next. And it was really cool. So
I'm going to send him that picture real quick.
Oh, yeah, of Lord Steps?
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that it?
No, that is actually, I believe
That's
that was
main stage.
that was the main stage for Dustfish last year,
looks like,
if I'm not mistaken. We actually have a really cool picture of it from this year. We're going to send to you guys here in just a second. But yeah, it's actually a bunch of us. We've been fishing all night. It was one of the first nights that we went out to the dock. I mean, Lord Steps. And
to the dock, I mean Lord Steps.
And we went fishing, and we were sitting there all night, and then we basically reeled in this crew of people, and then early in the morning, 7 or 8 o'clock or so, we ended up with this just huge chunk of people standing out in front of Lord Steps, from just people that we reeled in to say hi and feed them alcohol, and people are like, oh, you got Jameson, they never want to leave.
Yeah, Jameson. You know, actually, the first time I ever had, not Jameson, but Jameson with pickles, those picklebacks, was it?
Yeah, dude.
Wait, you guys know what time it is? Pickleback time. I'll be right back.
That's an amazing drink. Hey,
Yeah, we're actually going to do a couple right now. I wish you were here with us so we could share with you. But
I wish I was there with you too. Hey, I'm sharing. This is my trailer. I found a picture of it.
That's awesome. That's kind of like my buddy. That's the one after I woke up from my mishap on fucking Thursday morning. He has a camper kind of like that I was sleeping in for a couple hours, like to get some AC. Well, I'll tell you what, that saline ivy really did wonders too, man.
I bet.
Shout out to Massive for that, and I think the other girl's name was Jen. But oh yeah. Also, another tip for Burning Man, especially if you have an RV, bring like a little humidifier, especially one that you can like add like eucalyptus to or some shit like that. Clears the sinuses really well.
Good call. And my
get the JMO.
My other tip, if you go the RV route, is on all your bring some tinfoil and put that at a minimum. Bring some tinfoil and put it all over your windows, and you can use either from the inside or the outside. It does. You know, there's different opinions, but essentially just use like painter's tape, you know, so it doesn't stick too tightly to your trailer or whatever. Right. If it's a rental.
But it will keep some of that shit out. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll keep the light out mostly, and so you can get sleep when you want to sleep, things like that, because your clock gets totally fucked out there.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
Let me ask you guys a question. Did you guys tent camp your first year, or did you go the RV style?
I've done the trailer the whole time because I owned the trailer before Burning Man. It made absolutely no sense to me to own a trailer that I already camped across the country in, and then go home and go to Burning Man.
I'm a tenter.
Are you?
Yeah.
You know what? Congrats to you. I like one of the things that I and this is just my own personal opinion, is that people who go to Burning Man for their first year, one of the things about Burning Man,
he wants everybody to rough it. I'll just make it really short. I do. He wants everybody to rough it.
You know, I completely agree. And this is the only reason why I say that is because there are certain things that you learn being at Burning Man about yourself, but about the things that you take for granted.
Yeah.
And when you have a trailer or an RV, you have your own. You basically have your own bathroom. You have your own shower, and you're not if it was called, if they wanted it to be easy, they would call it Easy Man, and they didn't. They called it Burning Man. And I honestly think that people, your first year, whether or not you've been to regionals or anything, tent camp it and like go through and survive it. Try to be prepared and like understand the things that when you come back home, the things that we take for granted, like our hot showers and when we brush our teeth, how much water we waste when we brush our teeth, and all of those things. Like when you go out and you buy, you know, your plastic bottles of water, instead of buying a 20 case of plastic bottles of water, buy gallon jugs and then refill your one little plastic bottle.
Or buy the 2.5 gallon.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, less waste.
You learn how to control your waste, and you learn how to control your waste.
I have to say, I've definitely learned this. This is my refrigerator. This is a tiny little refrigerator, and I think that going to what you're saying and bouncing off of that is, you know, before I went, I lived in a huge apartment, and you know, I wasted food. What do you got?
What's the show in Lord Steps?
Oh yeah.
There it is. But you know, you totally you get to appreciate something like that, especially in a tent. I mean, there was one point where Wes and I were sitting in front of his camper, which is great to have, by the way, and watching my tent go like this in a windstorm. Like it was boom. Do you remember that?
My house
it was like boom. I'm like, oh my god. He's like, no, man, that shit is in there. He's like, I got you. I rebarred that. He's like, you're not going anywhere. And it didn't go anywhere. But it was worried. Trust me, because that was at the beginning. We were in the build too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to have a home for a whole entire week. What am I going to do? But it does. I think it does teach you a lot to appreciate that. And if you take a trailer, maybe you don't as much. But you do appreciate your friends that make spatchcock chicken.
Yeah, all about them chickens.
Well, the thing is you need people there with campers and stuff like that to like cook good meals, and like there's all like different like sorts of preparedness. You know what I'm saying? And if you go there and you tent camp, you can still be prepared and like have everything that you want. You know what I'm saying? You might have to hide your grill in your tent, but
that you're not.
What is that?
This is my more than first year, but it wouldn't hurt. Learn how to tie. And I've gotten better at this. I did not know this in the first year, but I got better as Kelly was talking about it. Go out on YouTube and look for basically just Google for five essential camping or 5 essential outdoor knots.
Yep.
And learn how to tie at least just like a half hitch, a trucker's hitch, a square knot, and a bowline knot. Like at least those 3 or 4. And I swear you'll be like, I'll never use this, and you'll be out of Burning Man. And in like 3 days, you're gonna be like, oh shit, I wish I knew how to tie a trucker's hitch.
You know, one of the things that I brought this year was one of those like weather shields that you can get from Walmart or something like that. I'm not a big fan of Walmart, but you can get it from Walmart or something like that for like 11 or 12 bucks. And it's got a shiny side, like aluminum foil or something like that on one side. I took that and I used it to cover my tent. And as the sun rose in the morning, I had no problems, like up until like noon, if I wanted to sleep in, being able to sleep in, because it blocked a whole bunch of sun like coming in and beating on my tent. And I really suggest that anybody. What's that?
You normally put it in a windshield? Is that what you're talking about?
It's almost
kind of like that. Yeah,
but
it's got
they make
like one side's like orange, like so if you're out hunting, like people will see it, and one side's like silver reflective.
Yep.
If you put the reflective side like up towards the sun, it'll like bounce a lot of it off. And like at least half of my tent, like when it got really warm, all I did was like I was laying one way, and all I did was like shift from vertical to horizontal, so that like I was able to like tent or like sleep like in the area that was like nice and cool. Those things are the fucking jam.
Those are so awesome.
That's what Clyde, aka Captain, was camping in.
AKA
this guy, the cleanest
God, it was
tent in the whole burn. I shit you not.
This is like, for anybody watching, this is like an in between. They're kind of generally referred to as hexayurts, even though some are more than hex. That you can see they don't really have any windows, and people stuff an air conditioner in them, and that little.
And they work. Yep.
And they are really awesome. So you know, if you're like, oh shit, I don't have a trailer, but I don't want a tent. This is a real between. You know, there's more to it than a tent, but there's a lot less to it than a trailer, and it's pretty spot on. Especially if you don't really camp at all during the rest of the year.
Yep,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Clyde was actually saying that the captain dude with the shrimp ferry, or the ferry shrimp, or whatever they are, he was saying that he actually went the last couple of years, and people were like dumping those and like leaving them like, you know, at some of the dump sites or whatever around the area, and he actually went by and scooped up a bunch of them and repurposed them and gave them out to homeless people and shit.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, they run about, you know, there's a range, of course, like anything, but they run like
Cheers.
400 used, you know, 1,200 new, something like that, without getting crazy accessories or whatever. And you know, realistically, if you're just rolling out there, a lot of people, it's like the only time they're ever gonna go, or they don't want to, you know, they're just flying from somewhere, take the Burner Express, whatever. You know, it's not really that bad an idea to shell out the $400 or $500. You're gonna do way more than that in an RV rental.
Yep. Oh yeah, easily.
And you know, you can either pre-arrange with a friend so you're not leaving shit on the playa, or maybe you have transportation in Reno so you can get rid of it yourself. And it's pretty slick, really.
Yeah,
it really is. Some tape and insulation board.
Yeah.
Some tape, insulation board. You can cut a hole in it to put an AC, and if you've got power to your camp, you can run your AC power, and you're golden. You know, it really is a super bright idea. I actually saw. It wasn't a village. There was this small little village that had quite a few of those set up. But I saw it was just a small strip. There was about 5 or 6 of them, and they were all built exactly the same way. So one of the guys, whoever decided to design his, basically it was just like, here, copy my design. And there were like 5 or 6 of them in a row that all had like little black bins where their AC kind of set up on top, and it was set into their yurt. And I just thought it was one of the coolest things ever. I actually may consider that, doing something like that one year after we have our.
Another thing that's good for the list of like things to do whenever you get to Burning Man, become really good friends with whoever's running power for your camp.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
Yes.
Especially if you have anything that, like, you know, needs fucking power.
Like an air conditioner?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I roll
the power guys off.
I roll up in there now with like 3 years of basically 3 years of experience, because what I'm pretty sure what happens to all the people that now currently own or sponsor art cars is that it's like their 10th or 12th year in, and they started just like you guys are talking, and then they got to where I am at 3, and then by 5 they were like, fuck it, I'm just gonna build an art car and sleep there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Those guys with the pearl necklace, they actually had a captain schooner that they were pulling behind it, which was like, basically it was another camper, a big size camper that they had decked in wood and stuff on the outside, so it was part of it. And so basically
they had like what, 3 or 4 bunks in there or something at least.
You had the pirate ship, and they had all their sound gear and their lighting equipment and all that other stuff tucked off into one room. But they had like a little sink and stuff in there that you could use if you wanted to take a little kitten snooze. You could go around and do that. But it was really cool seeing all of that.
If you have problems sleeping around like loud sounds, bring earplugs.
Yeah.
Most people that go there like are probably used to it. Like right before Burning Man, me and my buddy Tim Whitehaven, we were up in northern Wisconsin doing power for Even Further. And we parked our camper like literally 100 feet behind the main stage. Like I've got video of like the whole camper just shaking from the main sound. But I was able to sleep through that, you know, like I'm used to that. Some people might not be, so, you know. The vibrations are actually soothing, but like the sound might get to you. Bring earplugs if that's one of the things that's going to bother you.
Earplugs or headphones if you want to. Yeah, if you could throw some headphones in and kind of drown out other sound and stuff, you know, listen to some
me
like
talking,
really chill
you know.
Exactly.
I bring all the iPods that I had, like the old generation iPods that don't have anything on it, and I just load it up with music and I stick them in, because you could be disturbed by that the whole entire time. It's not just like one stage; it's all the stages, and then the
cars driving by.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're laying in bed listening to like the deep house camp that's next to you. It's more like you're laying in bed listening to the deep house camp next to you, and the drum and bass camp somewhere else, and the techno camp, and then that's just the music. Then you're listening to like people that have come home at 4
Everyone else.
And don't remember ever eating a Pop-Tart, but now they're doing it.
Yeah.
And then there's people there's people, you know, doing, you know,
dirty things.
Every dirty thing.
They can't help it. They're just covered in playa dust, you know.
All the fun, dirty things. They're just covered in dust. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, you know, it's all that, right? And then on top of it, which you would never in your entire life fucking imagine, there's going to be somebody camped next to you, and only you, that has their entire goddamn yurt, trailer, or tent surrounded in blinking LED lights.
Oh, that's me. That's me.
She's like, that's me.
And you're gonna totally be like, oh well, it's radical self-reliance, and it's you know,
Kelly.
I don't really want
Radical
to
self-expression.
Like my fault that I didn't know this, and we're telling you now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If the last thing you do on that JetBlue flight to Reno is get 2 pairs of earplugs and 2 pairs of those little face mask things.
Yeah. Gotta have goggles, otherwise you can't see. And like breathing masks and shit, you can get like super dope ones, like, you know, steampunk style or whatever the case is, or you can fucking go to like Home Depot and get like a painter's mask or whatever. But
that's a really important observation, because one of the things I was going to say, because I spent my share of time in the construction industry, and it sounds like maybe you guys have too, or something, whatever. But if you're in if you've ever worked in any kind of like labor intensive, you know, blue collar kind of, you know, career job work, whatever, with safety equipment, all that, you'll like be scratching your head like, I don't get it. Why are people paying $100 for like a dust mask? Because you know that you can get like a HEPA whatever for like $5.95. So, you know, definitely if you've never done any kind of like construction or industrial job, and you're asking yourself, holy shit, this stuff's expensive, and you know you can do without the fashion part of the bedazzling or whatever, definitely go look at like industrial paint, you know, painter protection, or industrial, you know, carpentry, any of these dusty jobs, like dirty job type things. And they got all that shit dialed in. In fact, one of my favorite Burning Man accessories that still to this day, people are like, dude, what is that? Is like, I have this vest, and I finally started sewing all my patches and things on it.
Right.
But I have this vest, and it's a chemically activated cooling vest.
What?
And I found it. It was only like maybe $30, $35, something like that. And it's actually pretty decent looking. You know, it doesn't have like a whole bunch of shit tons of branding on it or whatever, so it was easy to hide that. And it's pretty thin, even if you don't use it for cooling. But what you do is basically you dunk it in water, ice water, if you have ice water, or regular water, and then you just put it on, and it activates these crystals in the fabric, and it'll keep you cool for like 6-7 hours, at least around your chest and kind of, you know, the parts that tend to overheat.
Right. Dude, that's fucking
so
dope.
Awesome. That's so awesome. If you have a link,
do you remember where you found it?
Yeah. If you have a link for anything like
I
that,
think I just got it on Amazon, dude. You know, like, no, I'm serious. Like I was looking for it and found it somewhere else, and then to buy it, I usually just go to Amazon and see what they got. So
right.
Awesome.
But no, that's a really fucking good idea.
Yeah.
Okay,
word. Check that out. 2X. It's like one size too big for me.
Well,
yeah.
I think I don't know which one it is, but yeah, that kind of looks like it is.
This isn't the brand, but it's really close to what it looks like.
That's awesome. You could throw some fur on that and just rock it.
Oh yeah, bring fur too.
It
gets fucking cold at night. It's really cold at night sometimes. This year I heard wasn't that bad, but fur, that's why all those fuckers wear fur, because it's fucking cold out there and it's fashionable.
The thing is this thing is like so unfashionable, you could do whatever you want to it. Like
and like you said, you were sewing a bunch of patches on there. That's fucking wide open. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Well, and the other cool thing I did was I took like a less than $10 blinking LED
string, yep.
And I kind of stitched them loosely around the sleeves, down the sides, the front, the chest, and around. And
Fuck yeah.
So, and then the battery pack, you know, it's pretty small, so you can just tape it inside even.
Right,
And,
like L wire or something.
I prefer the LEDs; they're brighter, but yeah, same difference.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's super fresh.
Yeah, that's
dude.
super awesome. Super awesome.
Stop hitting me.
Whatever. So, but yeah, so I think maybe we kind of hit our like five bad, 5 good.
Did we? I don't know. Did we? Count
We
them.
may have. I can't go back through that much. You know, I can't remember shit that happened like 5 minutes ago. So, but yeah, like honestly, I think if I were to like try to get it down to a fine point, try to be the most prepared, unprepared person that's
Like, be prepared, but be fucking open.
Yeah.
And be like prepared to do anything, even though you're not prepared to like do anything. You know what I'm saying? Prepared for like, you know, survival, but like don't have like, and like setting a plan out there is fucking pointless.
Yeah, apply
like
time.
if you meet up with people, you meet up with people. If you fucking don't, you don't. You can't get butthurt about it. That's just the way that it is. They were trying to find you. You were trying to find them. It's a big fucking area, man. It's a city.
That is an almost perfect. That is an almost perfect segue for my only story that I have. Well, not the only story I have, but the only one I'm going to share today.
Bring it on.
So I go and I get in through entrance, and I'm in there, and I drive over, but I was really early in the morning, so I didn't want to drive into camp and bother anyone who might be sleeping. So I just kind of parked my trailer like somewhere on the edge right when you get in, and slept for a couple hours. So then when the sun came up, I got up and I drove on into camp. So I get there, and of course they're celebrating someone's birthday at sunrise and drinking Jameson. But other than that issue, which is an issue for me because I just driven for like endless hours, right? I was like so disoriented. So this is Sunday morning, really early. So I work, I help build out camp, I build my camp, do whatever, shade structures, all that stuff. Long day, cook some chicken, blah, blah, blah. Go to sleep, take a nap. So I'm almost positive, like I'm telling people all day that I have a gig. So, and I know that I have a gig. So I go, I get ready, you know, I take my disco nap, I go out like, I don't know, 11 o'clock, 11:30 or something. I go to the rendezvous point, no one's there. So I'm like, all right. So I'm on my bicycle, by the way, blinking lights, all that. I ride around a little bit, and I know that they're going to Deep Ply because they gave 2 rendezvous points in case you miss one. So I went out to the other one, couldn't find anything. I like landmarked the Black Rock Lighthouse, the whatever service thing, and the temple, and I like triangulated. I'm like, all right, well, I'm right where they're supposed to be, like doing their sound thing and all that. Nothing. So I'm like, as you all know, there was some wireless connectivity out there. So I'm like, all right, fine. I'll open your phone and see if I can get it. Somebody is looking as well. No answers, no nothing. So I'm like, fine, okay, cool. So I ride around like 2 hours. People find me, I find people. We just do stuff, whatever. Come back to camp, go to sleep. I get up the next day, and I'm like looking at my calendar, and it's like, it's Monday. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm thinking to myself, it's fucking Tuesday. And then I'm like, goddamn, iPhone's not working. So I go, I ask people, I'm like, Tuesday?
What day is it?
I'm like, nah, dude, it's Monday. And I'm like, no way. It's like, oh, it's Monday. They're like, it's Monday day, and now it's Monday night. Like, it's going to be Monday night tonight, right? Like, not, because you know this problem on Playa, people will be like, oh, yeah, I DJ on Friday. But what that really means is
Saturday morning.
They might DJ Saturday morning at 3 a.m. So it's like, so it happened. Everyone had a good laugh, whatever. I thought they were going to have a good laugh. Okay, so it's Monday night. No problem. So I decided, great, I got the good night now. Like, I'm fucking, like, stupid. Fine. I go looking for a Monday night. Looking around, can't find it. Can't find first rendezvous point. Can't find second rendezvous point. I'm like, God damn. I'm like, everybody's just fucking with me. Nothing happens. 4 or 5 a.m. rolls around. I do some bubbles and bass, whatever. Go back to sleep. Fine. I get up, and everyone's like, I'm like, is it Tuesday? They're like, yes, it's Tuesday for sure. Great. So I got a gig Tuesday. And so I go out to the one on Tuesday night, and that one I found. It was Dusty Rhino. And then like maybe an hour into that, I wasn't playing yet, but the other guys were, or whatever. Some more people start showing up, and a couple of the people were people that I was supposed to play with on Monday night. And so we're all like just sitting there talking, and everyone's like, "So, dude, like, sorry I missed the party last night." I'm like, "What, man? I looked around for like 2 hours." They're like, "So did I." And then the other one, and there's like two or three other people that weren't DJs, but they were like, "Yeah, we were looking for it, dude. We were trying to find y'all, so that's why we're here tonight." And we're like, finally, like maybe 2 hours in, another dude shows up, and he's like, "Oh, hey." He's like, "I'm so sorry. We're the owner of the art car that y'all are supposed to." They're like, "We broke down." They're like, "We broke down."
Oh,
and
no.
realized that nobody could really probably see or wasn't watching like the Facebook update or whatever.
Right.
So we're sorry, so sorry. And they went through hell trying to get that thing on Playa,
Yep.
Anyway, and that was just crazy. But that's a good example of like Playa time right there.
Yeah, there's
it's
nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, you learn to like you kind of just
gotta
learn
go
to
with the
roll.
flow,
Yeah,
yeah.
learn to roll with the punches, man. Like that's just
And
kind of
hopefully
how
there's
it
no
is.
punches.
Yeah, right.
I mean, because people miss like all these things that you would think and would be normally in a default world like super important. Like at least twice this burn, I ended up playing like 2 times. I ended up playing for 3 hours because others didn't show up or couldn't find it or whatever. And then another time I wasn't even on the party, and I showed up to hang out, and they're like, "Oh, dude, these people aren't here. Let's tag team." And we played for 3 hours together, and it was a great time.
Yeah,
So,
that's one of the coolest things about it is just the ebb and flow of like most of the people that are there for the right reasons, and they adjust accordingly. And like, some people like might have been busy the night before, got a little too fucked up, or their art car broke down or something like that. And just the appreciation and the understanding that really goes into like everything that is that, and like essentially regional burns as well, is just kind of fucking amazing. Like there's a lot of like super fucking dedicated, like hardworking, awesome fucking people out there that like help and supply like all of this shit for like us to do and everyone else to do. Even though we help and like do our part, we couldn't do it alone. You know what I'm saying? There's just a lot of fucking amazing people out there making a lot of amazing shit happen.
Amen.
I want to say this. I have some friends that came out with us this year, and I've only recently been friends with them for the past year. And I can like when we go and play shows, for me, it's kind of like a night and day type of thing. Like working on music and playing music and stuff is something that even though like there's always going to be an artistic style of ego there because you're creating something, you're trying to showcase what it is that you're creating for the world. I happen to be a very passive, kind of quiet type of person.
Which you wouldn't know.
Yeah, which you wouldn't know. But for the past year, these folks have not been able to see me really come out of my shell since moving to Colorado. And this year at the Burn, I network since like 98, 99, playing records, trying to travel, book gigs and things like that. Being grassroots artists, like the social promo game didn't come in until the past 7-8 years.
We almost missed it.
Then for 10 years prior to that, it was all handing out CDs and going in and talking to people. And so at Burning Man this year, like they got to see what I excel at hands on. They were like, "Holy shit, it's nice to see you in your element and see what you do," because that's what I do. I go out and I hike fucking all the way across Esplanade to talk to people on pirate ships, and I reach out and I try to make these connections with people to where it's a face-to-face thing, and you get to know me and hopefully my music partner a little bit through like some of our interaction. But that's how I build what I've wanted to do and what I've done for so long, is just by interacting with people and talking to people and treating people the way that I want to be treated, and going out there and like really putting in some FaceTimes. It costs me a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? I spend a whole lot of hard-earned money to go around and just talk to people and hug people and say thank you for allowing me this opportunity for us to be able to share our gift with with the world. So to be able to come out of my shell and see people who have known me for a year that are like, what is this guy good at? Like, actually be able to like, this is what I've been talking about the whole time. Like, I'm good at some things, you know? So I definitely suggest like people who are out there that have talents, like whether it's like marketing or networking or talking to people, like everybody has a gift, and you go out to apply it and you're able to take that gift and unfold it by hundreds, if not thousands, as long as you're willing to like put forth the immediacy and the participation to do those things. And so I don't know, it was kind of a shocker to me to like see all of this hard work that I've kind of done for years that I never felt like I got really a whole lot of recognition for, by two people who are really close to me, seeing it hands-on for the first time. It was kind of, it was really neat for them to just pull me to the side and be like, it's really nice to see you in your element. It's really nice to see like what you do as a person, like in your own time, and then come out here and go, wow, you know?
Well, and being friends with you for so long, like it's really nice, like being out in Colorado for a year and like you not like fucking having to deal with the bullshit from Tennessee and like all that kind of shit. Like
I was in trouble for a long time.
He was in trouble for a long time. But it's
how did you guys end up? Well, go ahead. But I was curious how you what prompted the move, you know, for both of you really from Tennessee to Denver.
Okay, well, I've got this fucking super awesome buddy named Tim Whitehaven, the guy that was doing Power for Dustfish. And basically, he's been out here like working in the medical industry for the past 7 years. And he was like, hey, you come out here, I'm going to teach you how to grow weed, and you're going to teach me how to produce music. And I said, Jarl.
Fair enough.
To Colorado.
Deal.
And it was a deal. I had been try to make a different long story short. I'd been in Tennessee. It's really weird. So we'll have a little moment. So I met Peaslee in Wisconsin in like 98, 99. When I first moved out of my parents' house, I was 17 years old. I moved in, I lived with this old hippie dude named Ogre and this girl I went to high school with. So I drop out of high school, I'm like fresh off the block. And when I was in high school, I was introduced into the rave community. And so I started going to all these shows and shit. And I was actually a big fan of this little dude over here. And he was kind of like, I wouldn't say a local celebrity, but like he definitely had notoriety. He definitely had notoriety in like our local scene there. And so his girlfriend at the time used to live across the street, and she would come over and play Nintendo, play some Tetris, and drink tea.
Super hip chick, Jamie Bradley, jam.
She's super cool. So basically, what happened was he would come over every once in a while, and like we would hang out. And then I played a show called Flow in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and I played right before he had. And there was a record that he had. It was Plump DJ's. It was Plump DJ's Push. I had no copies of it, but this dude had 3 copies of it. So I walked, and this is before like we ever really know each other. So I come up to him right
before. You didn't know I had 3 copies of it at this time.
So I come up to him before he plays a set, and I ask him like if he's willing to trade records and shit. And he's like, "Fuck you, Jarl." And I'm like, "All right, cool."
I didn't actually say "fuck you," but I was like,
but
"No,
it was kind of the same.
It's my favorite song."
So like, go away. I bought 3
years later, I moved to Tennessee, and I had left Wisconsin. I left with a bad breakup, and like I had been in the party scene for a long time, so I had gotten way off into like Partyland world and needed to come back to Jarl Land. And so I came back to Jarl Land. I moved back to Tennessee and got my shit together. And I went to a show in Nashville that was about 40 minutes outside of this little ass like out in the middle of BFE Tennessee town.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a town. Like it's this little place out in the sticks. And I was staying with my grandparents for a while. And I spent about 9 months getting my shit together and all this other good stuff. And so I had started getting back out into the club scene, looking for different places to play and trying to
trying to meet people.
Yeah, trying to meet people, do my thing. And I went to a show in Nashville, which was about 40 minutes away. And when I lived in Wisconsin, when I was in my mid-teens or late teens, I worked at Gadzooks before it was mostly like a female store. It was like a raver party store. They carried and all kinds of shit.
And like little wallets with mushroom patches and shit.
So I worked with this girl. Her name was Jenny. And I just so happened to see her at this party in Nashville. So I build up some liquid courage and I walk over and I'm like, hey, aren't you so-and-so? And she looks at me and she's like, holy shit, what are you doing here? I'm like, I live here. What are you doing here? And she's like, we were going to WMC, and at that time, Winter Music Conference and Ultra was held at the same time in Florida. So they were actually going down for both of those things. And I was like, oh, cool. Who did you guys stop by to see? And she was like, Peaslee. Do you know Josh Peaslee? And I shit you not, he's standing like 5 feet in front of me. And she turns around and taps him on the shoulder. And she was like, Peaslee, do you know Jarl? And he throws his arms up.
What the fuck
and he's
are
like,
you doing
yeah,
here?
what the fuck? And I'm like, I live here. And he's like, I live here too. And
He's like, I want your Plump DJs record.
yeah, right, right.
He ended up getting it, but I got the white rectangle scratch record in trade for it.
So basically, like, we go to I fucking meet him at this show, and from that point on, come to find out he lived in this small little town with me also. He had just moved to Tennessee, and he was like crashing with his mom for a little bit to get his shit in order.
Yep.
And we lived like 10 minutes away from each other. And that was in like early 2000s, maybe 2003-ish or 4-ish.
I moved down there in
tops.
November of 2003, so we probably hooked up like
2004-ish.
March of 2004, probably.
And yeah, it was just after that. And then basically we both started working on tunes and shit.
Started making DJ mixes together, 4 turntable sets.
Yeah.
Fucking
Started competing.
He entered me in a battle competition that I didn't want to fucking be in. You know,
it was whatever.
but it was all good fun. You know.
Well,
Now,
at the time we started competing against each other, like trying to make each other better. And then we started knocking heads, and then we didn't like each other for
You're like, that's a terrible idea. You're like, that's a terrible
like 2 months, dude. He was a dick.
All right, but whatever. Long story short, after that,
We were both dicks. It wasn't just him. Let's be honest. You know.
Well, a lot
I
of people
can't
go-
believe you were like, all right, whatever. You should have been like, you were a dick too, and I'd have been like, guilty.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm trying to be modest about my dickishness here. But yeah, basically it came down to where
I don't
like
even know what that means, but I know that he means it.
we lived really close to each other for fucking a long time, and so we started working on tunes together, and we started pushing each other to be better, like learning tableish skills and learning like different music and shit.
And the thing about it is, it was like it was like it wasn't like in the electronic scene, like there's just a lot of like negativity, like in the competition aspect and like hate and kind of shit like that. Like what we were going through was more like the kind of like hip hop, like b-boy battle, like turntablist battle. Like when somebody does something dope, you fucking give respect, you give props, and you try and fucking do better yourself if it pissed you off. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a healthy like thing for us to do at that point in time. In the fucking rave culture, man, like sometimes it just seems like, but I don't know if you've heard of Wicket the Instigator, Andrew Owsley, but we were actually back at Further Fest, like having this very same conversation with him about like how the electronic scene like just kind of has like this kind of like rough edge to it where some people just don't seem to realize that we're like kind of all on the same fucking team. We're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to like get down, and like everybody does it a little bit differently. You know, that's one of the things that I'll always take with me from like the hip hop culture is like a battle's a battle, dude, but it's all done out of love and respect.
Yeah, that is true. That's a hard thing to get your head around when you first kind of experience or dip a foot in that culture. You know, you would think that it's a lot of like posturing,
UNITY,
all that, but it's really
That's a unity. UNITY.
Boss hip hop b-boy culture like attitude is definitely completely different than like the East Coast West Coast shoot people attitude. It's a
right.
Well, see, here's
right,
another thing also. During that time that we were going through this, okay, so you had the explosion of the electronic underground scene in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then almost everything died until, like in the US, until 2006 when dubstep became prominent. And so both of us were breakbeat DJs. But when like the breaks culture,
hey, stop saying dirty words on here.
I can't because it's true. Like there was this huge lull. Like you had guys like Plump DJs and fucking Stanton Warriors and Crafty Cuts, and I respect these guys immensely. But there was this huge lull in the scene during the early 2000s.
Not due to them either.
Yeah, and it wasn't due to anything other than the commercialization of electronic music, where basically you had French house.
It's due to people changing like their taste. You get tired of shit after a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you also had new things arriving, French house and like electro house and things like that coming through. And so you had this like these new sounds and this new way that music was being created. And a lot of these, you had so many separate scenes where people followed house music or they followed drum and bass and they followed all of this.
Yeah, it was all clicky.
Yeah, and everything became clicky, and then it just kind of like mellowed out. And so there was this lull between like me personally, I would say like 2002 to 2006, and then in 2006 you had like the explosion of dubstep and like the commercialized EDM world, and a lot of the music that we followed during the late 90s into the early 2000s kind of just like faded away. General MIDI and like all these guys that were amazing producers and shit.
Yeah, whatever happened to General MIDI?
Just kind of faded out. Well, there was a whole thing with finger licking records, and we won't go into it. But
USB,
yeah. USB, yeah. Exactly.
He goes, not vinyl.
But yeah, like, so you had this like whole weird like.
You had Thunderbolt happened to MIDI General.
Damn it.
It's true though.
But so during that lull, basically we started getting into.
Bro, like wait a second. I know, and I still use MIDI today a lot. But while we're on this topic, that's kind of like making your DJ name something like Dirty Facts. And then one day people are like, "What's a fax?"
Well, if you go on AOL and wait for 15 minutes to upload, you'll be able to.
This is why, and this is why, like that company that does the car fact checking. Originally their name, their name was just Carfax, and that was it, like very generic. And then they're like, "Oh shit, the fax is gone. Let's make a play on Fox."
Yeah, which
marketing.
And the first time I actually saw that fucking Fox, I was disappointed.
What?
Fox.
That little lizard is so much better than that fox. Hey, lizard people, if you're listening,
if you're General MIDI,
are rolling over the fox.
If you're General MIDI, like, what are you gonna come up with? You can't. There's like no cute character that everyone associates with MIDI.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, like during that little lull, like
wait, hold on. I got MIDI Mouse.
MIDI Mouse.
Oh God! All his agent.
Blew my mind.
What is that? What is
this?
Yeah, what is that?
Wow, there's this restaurant right next door, which is actually based out of Denver, or the headquarters in Denver.
That's where he was like, "I'll be right back."
It's got what's got in it?
There's a restaurant right next door. It's called Chiba Hut.
Okay.
And so everything on the menu has like the name of some sort of weed or strain of weed, or some device that you would use to smoke weed or eat weed or cannabis or anything to do with it, right? So anyway, so they make these like snack things. They're not good for you. They're just
they're just delicious.
So this one I'm pretty
delicious,
sure,
and they make you sleepy.
It looks pretty damn delicious.
Yeah, they make basically they make all these what would essentially be Rice Krispie treats if they were using Rice Krispies, but they're not. So they mix them with other things like Fruity Pebbles. They have a Fruity Pebble one. They have a, and they basically call them all goo balls. So
right, yep. All right, there you go.
Eat your goo balls.
Those goo balls are delicious. I've had different goo balls before, and they're actually somebody brought some to Serendipity one year. And
first time I had one was at Hempfest in fucking Madison, Wisconsin.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Probably the same year that you fucking and your buddy stole a car to go down.
I was 16. We won't talk about that. So anyhow, during that lull of the like break scene, we started working on like competition shit. We started working on scratching, turntablism, and switching up our whole flow. Like we were 130 BPM artists, and we flipped it up to like 80 BPM to 100 BPM, and from that point, like we realized, all right, this is like the new shit. And then 2006 came, and they're like, you got to be producers, and we're like, fuck, we missed that train. So basically,
I have
from
a lot
like
of fun playing
2000.
records, though, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's still kind of what we do.
Well, and I think that no matter how much music we produce, like, I think that there's going to be like a mix of like, you know, I'd like to at least get to like 50% other people's music, 50% our music, you know, but like there's just so much good music out there that like I will never say that like I'm only going to play all original material like in any given set, because there's just some songs that like are, you know, set to be played at perfect times, dude. And if you fucking can find that time during your set to toss something in there like that, fucking everybody, including yourself, will just fucking go nuts.
Yeah, you got to listen. I agree. I think you got to listen to other music at least, you know, and then
Absolutely.
And then do your own edits at least or something.
and go out and listen to
it up a little bit. Yeah.
You know, go back to how the culture started. Sample-based music.
Yep. Catching that break.
Yeah, we actually got to catch recently here in Denver. Quick shout out to Ghetto Funk Denver movement.
Austin David.
You guys are full of shout outs.
Dude, this guy like
he brought Slink and Sticky Buds to Denver, dude.
Sticky Buds.
Ooh, nice.
Exactly.
Dude, it was fucking, and Bobby Collins
And
fucking
Bobby
dropped
Collins.
in for like a fucking I'm an awesome dude, like happy set, dude.
Yeah.
It was super. We got to talk to him for a little bit afterwards. Like when we first moved here last year, like he was in contact with Bobby C, like just trying to link up with him. Like he'd actually sent him messages, like asking him a couple questions about production, like while we were living in Tennessee. Guy was super fucking cool, dude. Like answered all of his questions and shit. So when we got out here, he hit him up and like basically we're like, hey, we want to grab a beer sometime, you know? So when we were talking to him the other night, he was like, oh, was I a dick? And we're like, no, dude, you were awesome. Like we just forgot to fucking get a hold of you, you know? So it was an amazing fucking night, dude. Slink fucking killed it. Sticky Buds killed it. Obviously, Bobby C killed it. Like all of them. Even the openers, dude, like they were just like, you know, they put on a track, dude, and they were like, one thing that, while we were playing at Burning Man, like two people came up to us and they're like, we've never seen anyone like get down while they're playing like as much as you guys do, you know, to their own music. And we're like, well, okay. First off, like everything that we're playing right now, like wasn't like remixed or produced by us. Like there's a lot of like, there's a lot of other artists involved here. Like they're like, no, we understand that. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying like, you guys were fucking seriously like getting down to like what you were fucking doing. And it just made like everyone else's like energy that much higher, you know? But the openers at the Austin David show for the fucking Slink and Sticky Buds, like they were all just like crushing it and like getting down. They were like calling a couple people that were like B-boys in the crowd up on stage and shit, dude. It was fucking seriously like one of the best shows that I've been to. Yeah. I mean, I've been to a lot of fucking
Slink did his talk box.
Yes, Slink brought his talk box, dude. It was fucking dope,
it was
dude.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
If you guys have not seen, or like anybody that might be watching, Slink actually has an amazing tutorial out for Ableton. It's on septuplet swing and quadruplet swing. But it's actually, that's kind of in the Ableton world. If you ever hear of anybody talk about those things, they're like, yo, because like that's kind of what the whole swing aspect of the beat is what brings
makes
like,
ghetto funk,
makes ghetto funk and like glitch hop, like really funky and shit. Sure. So the guy's super awesome. He makes great music and great sound. So Slink's dope.
Yeah, he was at, I'm pretty sure he was at Electric Love Festival. Pretty sure I heard him there.
Mm-hmm.
He's done Shambhala many years in a row, which is another reason why we kind of moved out here too. So that way we were like
closer to make it to Shambhala.
we were half as far away from Shambhala.
Can you take me next year? Take me.
What? Take you?
Come with us,
yeah,
please.
let's all go together.
Please.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to go.
Let's all go together. It's one of it's kind of one of our dreams, like to play Fractal Forest, you know, with all those guys. After we did the after we started doing the competition kind of like hip hop thing and like learning the turntablist aspect, there was this big growth in like 2008, 9, and then 2010. You had the Ghetto Funk label that was actually labeled Ghetto Funk. And so you had all these guys that were kind of pushing this weird like hip hop / breakbeat / mid tempo thing.
Funk, it's like funk with,
and it was
like
all
funk music,
based,
hip hop lyrics,
and we're hunters. Like we have hunted for music for years. That's what we do. It's something.
And used to go to the record shop, and fucking listen to 100 songs and buy 7. Now I listen to 1,000 and maybe get.
Yeah,
you know?
it's the culture, and like that's one of the things that we absolutely love, and we still go through, whether it's like digging through crates or digging on fucking different sound platforms and shit like that. We dig and dig.
Just for the record, I'm still mad at DJ Shadow for having that whole basement of the record shop to himself. Kind of sucks. Share the love, man. Share
Just
the love.
for the record, DJ Shadow.
Yeah. Because
we love you. We just want access to some of your record collection.
Because I can see.
And then that's how we got into the whole funk, like ghetto funk breaks thing, All Good Funk Alliance.
DJ Shadow is totally hanging out in the comments right now.
You're so good at bringing it back, by the way. I'm impressed. You're like, we go complete, like, it's like shiny, 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 and you got it.
Yeah. It's like kids with ADD. Every now and then you just hook one and just bring it back.
Bring it back. Go ahead. Go on.
But yeah, like so basically, like when everything had that lull, we did the competition shit. We like kind of spiced up our skills a little bit, and then we found the world of mid-tempo breaks. And
hold on. Before that, Wicket crushed both of us in that competition, just for the record.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever. He's all right. I still love him either way. He made it to the finals 2 years in a row. Fuck him. So anyhow, we fucking and that's what we started pushing. And then honestly, it wasn't till shortly after that I personally saw a revival in the break scene. I saw Stanton Warriors coming out with more. I saw Wes Smith became Wes Smith, and Juice Recordings became Juice Recordings. And then you had like these other breaks artists that just kind of stepped in. So then you had this like two separate scenes, like this weird funk scene, and then you also had this like breakbeat culture that was still like striving and pushing. One of the things that like I did say in like 2006, and this is not me like patting back self, but I was like, I had a feeling the electronic music world would cross with the commercialized hip hop world, and that was just shortly after the dubstep thing came out, and then boom, you had trap, and then now you have like the cross combo of like bass music, your 4/4s with your trap and your breaks trap and your house trap and your trap house and your trap house and all those other things. But now we are here today. But we've continued to push the whole mid-tempo breaks thing.
It's the trap.
2010. Okay, you guys talk now.
Gooball trap.
And now you got Mousetrap. You got apps that are writing songs for you.
MIDI trap, MIDI mouse trap.
Minnie Mouse trap. It's for the smaller minds.
Mouse. You got MIDI Mouse, yo.
Way to bring that back. All right. Good job, baby.
Hey, I got a question. Jarl, what is going on your Facebook profile? It looks like like a big modular Moog or something, but I don't know. I want to say
Bob Ross.
That's my dad.
That's what I thought it was.
Bob Ross, like doing some plugins.
That's my dad.
He's basically.
Really? That's your dad?
Yeah.
No, it's not. Is it really?
Yes. Yeah.
That's fucking amazing,
seriously?
dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal. The reason actually why I put that up, I just happened to like Google Bob Ross, and that happened to be like one of the pictures that came up, and I was like, oh, I'm going to toss this shit up. When I was a kid, my grandfather, who I happened to go back and live with after I moved to Wisconsin and shit, when I was a kid, he used to watch Bob Ross religiously, and it was Twilight Zone, Bob Ross, This Old House, and something else on public PBS.
That's Bob Vila, though.
And Bob Vila, yeah, This Old House, all day long. Old Yankee Workshop, all that shit. Yankee Workshop, I don't know what it was.
Before HGTV.
It was way before that.
What's HGTV?
It was actually
what the fuck is the internet?
Yeah, right. It was actually when you had to put aluminum foil on your antennas and then stand outside and yell from the inside, "You're almost there! You're almost there!" A little more to the left,
to the right. To the
left. This is actually what's funny. I had two. Okay, so when I was 14 years old, I was accepted to art school, visual art school. It was art instruction schools in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's the same school that Charles Schultz went to. Charles Schultz, the creator of Peanuts, was actually one of my favorite visual artists, as well as Bob Ross. And it just so happens to be they're like two of my absolute favorite people of all time. Charles Schultz was definitely a weird character, And Bob Ross, for me, I didn't know him personally, unlike you. There you go. But
you weren't. Anyway,
Bob Ross like was one of those guys that was always awesome calm and serene and just super easy chill. Yeah, just as easygoing as it could possibly be. And I honestly always felt like I identified with the man in the sense that I'm very passive, I'm very easy and outgoing, and I was always a visual artist. I picked up on shit like doing painting and stuff that I don't think that most kids my age at that time did. And I just loved him for the person that he was. I thought he was an amazing individual. Anytime you watched the show, you left the show going, I feel better about myself. I feel better about life. And that's the kind of person that I've always wanted to be. Now, if we go like all the way back to when we first started talking about my name in Scandinavia means Jarl, and Jarl is an earl or nobleman, and the earl or nobleman, before they had the Duke of Earl, they had a Duke of Jarl, and that was the king's right-hand man. It was the person he could go to with anything, the person that he confided in, and that is how I've always seen myself, someone who's straightforward, willing to say whatever needs to be said, sometimes things that probably don't need to be said, but that is the kind of person that I've always strived to be, is just someone who is genuine and straightforward and like, this is who I am, but also like leave people feeling like, I feel better after talking to him for a little while.
You have always strived to be a Norse or Danish chief.
Pretty close. Earl or nobleman.
You're not doing bad.
And if you don't like that, Jarl is also a stock ticker on the New York Stock Exchange.
Well, there was this one time in Albuquerque, but we don't talk about that anymore.
Oh.
Let's find the origin of Jarl. Well, as you say,
I just told you.
I know. I tried to look it up and it froze me out. He just told you.
I just told you. It started.
I would say always Google and check your information coming from this guy.
It started.
I tried and it kicked me out. I think it's a conspiracy.
It is. See,
it started in Scandinavia.
I think I'm just going to start calling you Earl.
Hey,
Earl, head of the Illuminati. All right.
My name is
Jarl.
That's all you get.
My El Camino, and we'll call it a day.
Earl. My name is.
Earl.
With all due respect, it was fun hearing about Bob Ross, but for 10 whole minutes. But I swear, I hope it's the last time.
Get out of here!
Oh, you asked him and then you dissed him. You know what? You're out. I'm putting the camera on them.
You know what? So let's go back to Burning Man. That's part of life. Like sometimes you get love, sometimes you get this.
Well, yeah. What else?
You're still here doing a video with Wes Smith and Kelly
The
Ross.
problem was I was really focused on the patch chords and the actual synth, and then I kind of saw him, and then we
That's
just.
It's actually a different video with Ill Gates. When you guys talk to him, he'll be able to work all that shit out.
This is true. This is totally true. Yeah.
Oh, I just got a mosquito. See that?
It almost looks like the backside of Reason.
You killer! Get him!
Mosquito.
Fuck that mosquito, dude.
I hate mosquitoes. Look, there it is.
Yeah,
Does anybody really like
welcome
mosquitoes?
To the South.
I'm not in the South. I'm in the North. I'm in New York.
Actually, okay, you're in New York right now?
I am.
East Coast.
Yeah. Kelly lives in New York.
Oh shit! It's like Biggie versus Pac, dude. Except on Wes Smith's radio show.
He's in California. I'm New York.
Yeah, East Coast, West Coast.
She lives on a boat in New York, and I live out here in San Diego.
Are you guys gonna freestyle battle or what?
Yeah.
We would freestyle. We would freestyle, but there's too much delay between New York and here.
I feel like
right.
I feel like a Zoolander right now.
It's called Blue Steel.
Blue Steel, that's right. Maverick.
Oh, you're killing him, girl. That guy doesn't stand a chance.
I have a feeling she's tried this one.
She's got it down, dude. She's got it locked in.
There's his bottle. There's his bottle again. I like when
I can't compete with Bottle.
He's like Bottle.
In case you ever want to know what story it's like.
Yes.
Yes, there you go.
Okay, so we have these things that we're supposed to talk about. What else are we supposed to talk
I
about?
don't know. I just want to show you guys my blanket, dude.
We like to go with the flow.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Well, yeah, no, we're fine. I think it's been actually wonderful. It was a totally delightful detour into basically what became a live tutorial for first-time burners.
Yes. Well, you know, we can probably throw this on the BM page.
Ask the question, just send them to this link. Anybody who has been before will be angry and completely confused. And anyone who wants to go will be completely confused, but probably not angry.
You're welcome. So, Wes, I've got a question for you. So one of the things that so without dropping any names, Skrillex camped next to us, and he was like, I think, you know, 20 feet away from us. And I know you came to Serendipity this year where we got to meet. One of my questions actually for you is, how do you feel and like how do you view commodification with owning juice and like going to regionals, but then also going to the big man? Like, how do you balance within yourself like commodification, self-promotion? Because like for me, juice is one of those things not everybody in the world knows about. Not everybody in the world knows about Wes Smith.
Not yet.
And so
we're helping. We're gonna make that happen.
How do you? Yeah.
Everywhere.
So how do you find, or how do you find that balance in that culture?
Oh man, do I find a balance?
I think so.
I mean, do you?
I don't know, man. Like it may be because I really, I don't know. You know, like I may not fully know what you mean. You know, by the balance. Like, are you talking about in terms of both sort of commodification and not like being part of both of those?
Right. Like basically like so one of the things.
I think the balance is achieved before and after. Like
well, I don't know. I think a lot of that, if you're talking about because of the different sort of ideologies of like, you know, people that are way on the left and way on the right, for example, of that commodification kind of thing. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like some people are like no commodification whatsoever. But for me, like Burning Man has been one of those things where like, and I don't feel like it's there anymore with the saturation of music and with there being so many artists and like also with them doing like set lists and shit for like these big stages at the big man. But like Burning Man used to be to where your smallest little artist would go out to this huge area where like artists from all around the world gather, and they would look for or hope that someone to get some kind of recognition or to be able to, without like commodifying themselves, being like, here's all my promo shit and blah blah blah, going out and playing music for people and going, oh, here's a new artist that we haven't heard about. So like with the I would say like with the saturation of like music and there's being so much of it, like you were talking about, like with these big camps and like just everything going on, like how do you find the balance between like being able to talk about frisbees and yo-yos without necessarily like commodifying your label and like who you are?
You just don't.
Well, I think. Well, yeah. Okay. So now I understand more clearly what your interest or perspective is on that. But I mean, I would say a couple things that probably have nothing to do with music or entertainment business at all. I think you know, luckily the environment I grew up in as a kid was pretty respective of hardworking people. And I should say, well, hardworking people, people who things came easy to as well as difficult to, you know, like, so I think growing up I was just in an environment where there was not just my parents, but, you know, their friends was a you know, a pretty like even understanding of just people, not really what they had, you know? Right. So I think that certainly shaped, you know, maybe being patient a little bit and observing things before I, jump to maybe a conclusion. Right. Not that I haven't ever before, but typically, especially as I mature or get older. And then I think on the more music specific side of it, I that's really carried me, I think, a long way, because the thing is like, I'm involved with, like, the people I'm involved with that, number one, that got me into Burning Man, and then the people that go to Burning Man that sort of, invite me to play or whatever like that, like, they're good people, There's a lot of good people out there. They're honestly, I haven't run into any shitty people out there. So I mean, I read and see some of the social media, but like, I think a lot of it's perspective, and maybe a lot of it is like, some confidence in what you do, I guess, because, like, I'm pretty satisfied with, like, maybe each step that I've had in the creative fields, like, and so
right.
I think everybody always wants more, but I think because of my upbringing, I'm like, I try to appreciate each step as it goes, in case, like, that's the last one,
Right,
so yeah,
right.
so, like, when it comes to, like, a Burning Man thing, like, and I can only take, like, maybe some of the negative PR that I saw around it, but this is maybe a good example for you with, like, recent. So, like, there was stuff about, like, the plug and play and this and that and whatever, and so the gut reaction, I think, of somebody who maybe has had really bad experiences with, let's say, people of wealth. Let's just say let's say that's an example. It's not all the examples, but it's certainly an example.
Yes, right. For sure.
I think it's clear in society that there's a certain segment of people that dislike wealthy people, regardless of how they got wealthy. They just don't like them.
Right.
Like, they kind of don't trust them or think something's not right about them. There is a segment of folks like that. So when you have 80,000 people at Burning Man or anywhere, you're going to have a group of people that's like that. They're going to go complain. They can complain because social media gives them that ability nowadays to be
right.
heard.
That outlet, yeah.
And so my reason to point that out is because, like I read these things about plug and play camps, or about Skrillex being there, and that's a big show, or people are actually going there, or the camp is advertising his name. Like, I read that stuff and think to myself, well, maybe Skrillex didn't put it in his rider for Burning Man to be the biggest font on the flyer. Maybe the camp did that.
Yeah. Well, and the one thing that I'll say about that,
what I mean? So you get where I'm coming from? Like, I just think the patience in trying to understand what exactly is the reason something has happened. I believe.
Yeah.
I'm making another drink. Continue. I'll be back.
Yeah, no, I believe that has served me well in trying to understand why something is happening, not just the punchline in the media that someone said is why it happened.
Well, and that's kind of like one thing that we discussed, like, after, like, he had brought that question to me, like, a couple of weeks previous, like, right in the middle of the fucking burn. And my opinion on that is, he wasn't running around fucking Skrillex this or Skrillex that, dude. He was super fucking chill, dude. Everyone else might have been hyping it up, but, like, he was super cool the whole time. Not only that, dude, but, like, dating back to, like, your comment about how some people just innately dislike wealthy people. Okay. Yeah. But they don't understand that, like, a lot of those wealthy people are the ones who are funding and supplying all of the shit that you're fucking enjoying. Without them, like, being the cool people that they are, and, like, dumping this money into this camp or into this art car or, like, anything like that, dude. Like you said, dude, like, there's a lot of fucking awesome, like, wealthy people out there, and, like, just because you're wealthy,
and my answer to that is that if you're a purist, decommodification purist, then don't go hang out over there.
Right, exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, and also, like, the thing is like,
because in reality, if you can go hang out away from it all, that's fine. You can go.
There's plenty of room. Yep.
You can go hardcore into walkout playa, walkout camping, and get away from it all. And so what's funny to me, I guess, is that if you if you just continue to talk about, you know, why it's no good or whatever, yet you don't exercise your own right to walk over there away from it, then it seems to me like and there could be other reasons, but it seems like a logical answer to me for that kind of person is that they simply were never comfortable with people that aren't like them, that don't look like them or wear clothes like them or whatever. And so now that there are more people that don't look or act like them, but it might be good people, but just don't look or act like they do, or do the same things they do, whatever, maybe like the same music, whatever. It almost seems to me like that's becoming the hypocritical part, because
thank you.
Absolutely.
There's good people, you know, and yeah, there's assholes, but there's assholes on both sides. So I think
yeah, there's poor assholes, there's rich assholes. Yep, exactly.
100%. And there's assholes that wear, you know, the coolest, dopest fur, and there's assholes that wear, you know, a polo and a button down out there.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's all there, man.
Yep,
But
exactly. And the simple fact is you can't fucking just simply judge based on whether you know that they have money or like whatever the case is. Like, and I think that he was asking, like,
a lot of people with money. There's all kinds of people with money, you know. Like, and I've run across, you know, a fair sprinkling of different types of folks with a lot of money, and some people I don't know Skrillex, never met him, etc. Seems like a nice guy in interviews and stuff, and I just take it for face value. I've never met him.
Like I met him for all of like fucking 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah. And it's like
super
a lot of these guys, you have to think like, okay, let's say today that I'm just broke as fuck, right? And I'm an artist and I work hard and I'm a nice guy and it's just, that's just who I am. And life goes on and I do artistically cool stuff. And then one day I happen to make a sound because I'm a sound nerd and it's just dope as shit. Next thing I know, like I give it away and then a couple years later I get a Grammy. Well,
yep.
nobody's gonna say no to that stuff. Like, why would you say no?
Exactly.
Hell no.
I've actually got a buddy. His name is Kyle. He goes by Kyle O'Reilly, and he has a grant. He has a Grammy. He has a Grammy, and he went to SAE, which is School of Audio Engineering, and he happened to be one of the mixers for
Don't mention the name.
somebody. Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
for a very, very famous artist. And so he doesn't ever play on that whatsoever. But the guy has a Grammy, and it was really weird for me to be like, "Oh, you have a Grammy? No shit." And he's like, "Yeah, but I also live in my little studio apartment, and like I mix some music, and I have access to some studios." And he's,
I mean, that I agree with that, and that hopefully was a long answer to your original question. I mean, I think you can have, like, the very first thing I said about kind of growing up with an open mind, and I certainly have not always been completely self-confident. That by no means would I say that, but I have learned that if I am happy with like who I am and confident in what I'm doing, in the way that I'm doing it, and I'm okay with that, what I have learned,
doesn't matter.
And I'm not always that way, but what I have learned is
nobody is though.
Is when my mind is focused on being in that state and I'm working towards that,
yeah.
that's when I'm at my best
and you're happiest.
I think there's all kinds of people with every combination of everything, and honestly, I really don't care what combination of the world's things somebody wants to be. The only thing I would suggest is that they work towards making sure that they're genuinely okay with that.
Yep.
If you are, rock on.
Yep, absolutely.
It was really weird. If you don't want your Grammy for the sake of, waving a decommodification flag, but inside you really would like to have it, but you don't because of whatever, well, you're not truthful to yourself. So
yeah,
that's how I see it.
It was honestly really weird for me, like coming from like regionals to the big man and like end up camping next to someone like that, to where I was like, oh, is this company involved or is that company involved, into like basically taking like that little part of my ego that was saying, oh, this is what your culture is and blah, 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 blah. And like basically taking that and chucking it out the window and saying, yo, let's appreciate someone for who they are and what they're trying to offer to what everyone is trying to give.
Well,
And,
here's another thought I have along that line is that, you know, there's every possibility that somebody is a good person or whatever. You know, somebody is out there because it's just the way they managed to end up there, and maybe they don't really like the way that they're there. And so, if you know, why not reach out to them and like, that's the place, if there ever was a place, to just, you know, open up and give it a whirl. And okay, Absolutely. If they're an ass, then fine, don't spend time with them. But you really, I find I'm always surprised at, you know, you see someone and maybe you're judging a book by a cover a little bit or whatever, and you open up, say hello, chat with them, and you know, it's quite frequently that I may be surprised that
how cool they are.
Both surprised at myself for having thought like, oh, that, you know, maybe they look like X or whatever, right?
Right.
Like, those are the times where I kick myself and I'm like, God damn, I'm glad I said hey to that person, because I would have left there like thinking some bullshit, you know?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. No, like I agree with you 100%. Like I really wanted to see what your stance was, coming from someone who owned a label that goes to Burning Man and so forth, so on, to honestly camping next to someone who's like top notch when it comes to EDM world, and like having a conversation, being able to sit here and have a conversation with you and be able to sit and have a conversation with them, even if it's only for like all of a minute and a half. Yeah. And basically coming into my own realization, I personally had a hard time with the EDM world.
I will say I draw some lines that are just personal lines for me. I don't have a problem, you know, if someone else does it and people don't like it, you know, like you see people out there, like you said, handing out, you know, whatever, buttons or patches or whatever. And some of it's very, you know, sort of white labeled, if you will, just camp related, and that stuff's cool. But at the end of the day, it's all some kind of commodification, right? So like, so for me personally, like going back to like what makes me feel good, you know, like the friends that I have that got me into Burning Man, go to Burning Man, etc. You know, I just know that they, like, it's not really their bag of chips to, you know, to hand out stickers promoting a commercial entity, etc. And so that's just the way I learned. And you know what? I'm okay with that. So like, I take some stuff with me to Burning Man but I don't give it out or gift it or anything that really. But if somebody were to approach me who might know me, or maybe it's the only time during the year that we're going to get to connect, they might be like, hey, dude, you know, like, do you happen to have any Frisbees or yo-yos with you? Yeah, sure. Then I'll give them one. But I'm not out there like toting around a bag of Frisbees, hucking them across the playa, you know?
Well, right. And like, I know that's not what he was saying anyways. No. You know,
like,
he was
like, honestly, like, basically you said what I was kind of looking for, like looking for that common ground, is that there is a commodification. There is some form of commodification all across the board. Burning Man itself has commodified itself. They're like, oh, we're the cleanest festival. Oh, there's Bob. So there is some form.
It also always, like, that's also really like kind of, you know.
There's always some form of commodification where you're like, this is okay. You can be whatever kind of artist you want, whether you're a big name or you're a small guy.
Are you selling stickers there? Are you selling Frisbees? Like, no, you're not. No one like Skrillex honestly around talking about Skrillex. He wasn't running around talking about I'm Wes Smith, dude. Like, and like that's when you set like the commodification like aside. That's when like if somebody wants a sticker or something like that, like you're not selling it, you're fucking giving it away. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a big difference between like.
And I don't go out of my way to do that even, but you know, like, so yeah.
I mean, I would though, because like I want a Frisbee. God damn it.
Now you all know I'll be pimping it at an event.
Yeah. But that's another thing. Like for me,
people gotta eat.
What he just got to.
Yeah. Gotta eat. Honesty.
Come sponsor me.
What
Hold on, let Kelly talk.
No, I got nothing.
Shame on you.
Oh, you done?
Okay, so when he was just saying to where you are, like I used to find, I personally used to find this weird balance between the people who have like been able to make it to that are grassroots artists, to those who have like formed even more so, labels and so on.
Most
And
people,
so-
like as it starts out, are grassroots artists, though. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It just gets to a point where that's just not enough to like.
Here's my thing. I think that, and this is just me personally, like whether your stature or my stature or Kelly's or fucking Skrilbo or any of those, anybody, like in that setting, we are there to give what we do to the world. We pay for our tickets. We all pay for our tickets. We all pay for like camp dues and shit like that. And we all go out there and we look for different cars to play on and we look for different camps to play at. And we're out there expressing ourselves and giving our gift of music and our talents to the world. And I've seen a lot of people knock so many different people for like commodification, even if it's at like regional burns. And for me personally, I really feel that the burner community is set on like that grassroots. Like, yes, you're not like smashing social promo, like, oh, I'm playing at this camp and oh, I'm playing at that camp, because up until this year, you couldn't do that. Mm-hmm. But now that you can, even among 70,000 or 80,000 people, however many that are out there, I see the possibility for all artists to actually reach out and engage in a one-on-one, hey, this is who I am, this is who we are type of situation, and it not be commodified, whether or not you're giving out swag or, you know, or frisbees or yo-yos or whatever the case is.
Right.
Like none of those things really matter, because honestly, when I come home, I'm totally cool with having a fucking glow-in-the-dark frisbee that I could chuck around with my friend for the next day or so, talking about, oh, how we met Wes Smith, or talking about, oh, how we met Skrillex or Kelly Ross or anybody else for that matter.
Yeah.
Yo, how we met Joe Schmo, who's only got 10 followers on SoundCloud. None of those things matter to me. I love those aspects. That's what it's about.
That's why I think, I mean, out of all the festivals, all the anything, music, entertainment, bands, whatever I've been to see, to me, really the thing, you know, Burning Man sets its rules. You like them or you don't. They definitely support decommodification, which is cool at certain times, and that's one of those places.
Right.
If you totally go against that, then it'll probably take care of you, or you'll get bored of it anyway, because it's really not going to produce what the results you know, your ROI, right? If you're approaching it like that, and you're not just having a good time and hanging with people and friends and all that. And the uniqueness of it, really, to me, is that it's the only one I know of, a festival, gathering, whatever, that you know, it's called a gathering, that you can, that where the ticket price is really just it's really just your right to come to, you know, a planned plot of dirt, pitch your tent, and bring some cool shit, and it's your right to be able to do that in the desert. Like, I don't know any other that is that way. So I think as long as that stays, I think it's going to go through all kinds of iterations. I mean, it's only my third year.
Oh, no. Did we lose Wes?
Oh, there he goes. Wes is out.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap.
Hi.
Kelly, you're just sitting there just so quaint and cozy.
I know, right? I'm the most talkative person ever, and then I get on here and he's like,
And then you got us.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I usually don't say much, but then
I have no chance. All right, hold on. We're going to do a toast, and I'm going to play a song for you.
Good. I'm down with that.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know what happened to him. Cheers.
Salud.
Cheers, my lady.
I'm pretty sure we can't do this right now. I'm doing something illegal.
No,
Oh, really?
we can do this.
It just means we're gonna get copyright. So here's the deal. So when you have a copyright issue with YouTube, you have an opportunity to switch it out with something that's not copywritten.
Right.
Or you could just do silent. So I'm probably gonna replace that with Old MacDonald.
Yeah, right?
Or I can
That's
contact.
all fair, right? That's public domain.
From my understanding, he had a farm.
He did have a farm.
He had a farm.
From my understanding, he had a farm, maybe a greenhouse.
There's a possibility.
Possibility.
Sometimes they're one and the same.
Maybe Old MacDonald knew something that we didn't know. years ago.
All I'm saying is you can take the name and go context clues.
Context clues.
Context clues. If you can figure it out, it will hit the shelves soon.
Absolutely. I don't know what happened to him. Should we wait for him? Let's go on a different topic besides Burning Man.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We can go on. He can come back and be like, "Oh shit, where are you guys at?" We'll be like, "Right here."
Okay, I have a burning question.
Okay.
Please.
So we've gone through this whole thing of where you're from and everything and where you are now. How come you don't have accents? You have no accent.
Really?
No, not at all.
Me or him or both of us?
Well, you kind of have one, but not really.
Wisco?
Yeah.
Like a little northern?
Yeah.
I'm an eclectic love child.
You're what?
I'm an eclectic love child. Like, I was brought up in the South, but seriously, okay, from the time...
Okay, from here on out, this is what's talking.
Okay,
all right?
all right.
No.
If I'd known that, I would have gotten some Jameson, but go ahead.
I don't know. I fucking lived in Wisconsin till I was 9. Lived in Louisiana till I was 14. Then back to Wisconsin and then to Tennessee. So I think my accent, like, even though it's more like Wisconsin based, is kind of like leveled out from living in Louisiana and Tennessee.
See,
I went
from Rochester, New York to Charlotte, North Carolina, which Rochester is very close to Wisconsin, right? So we all
yeah.
And then I moved down to Charlotte, which is super southern, right?
Right.
And then back to DC, which I think I'm pretty neutral. I could be wrong. I think I'm neutral, but when you
I do think you're neutral as well.
I think you're a neutral also.
Okay,
yeah.
right.
Honestly, I think it depends on the person. I was brought up in Tennessee. Like, I moved there when I was 3 or whatever. So, like, I've always been from
Where
Tennessee.
in Tennessee?
Middle Tennessee, like Murfreesboro, Nashville, like that surrounding area.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
When I was 14, 15-ish, my mother remarried, and we lived in Wisconsin up until I was 2, and up until about 2002-ish. So for me, part of the development of the psyche of an individual, like if you think about from the time you were like 15 to 21, there's a whole lot of shit that happens.
Well, yeah, of course. Okay,
so that part of it was that for me, when I went to high school in Wisconsin, and they called me Tennessee because I had like the Southern draw, and like I'd say 10 instead of 10.
You still do, kind of.
I still do. Whatever. As this happens, it gets worse. But,
it does get worse with picklebacks.
But it was one of those things that I actually focused on. When I moved up north, I noticed that a lot of people talk very nasally, and they talk down a bit.
They do, yeah.
But they
oh my God!
But they they enunciated their words very specifically to where you had everything like lined up.
Yeah.
So even though they talked down very noisy, it was a very like this is constructed talking. Other than
so
like
kind of mix that.
Other than like Tennessee, where you're like, oh, I'm just gonna say whatever this is supposed to mean, and you'll use your context clues to figure it out. So it took me about 3 or 4 years of moving to Wisconsin, and I actually developed a northern accent. Okay. And when I moved back to Tennessee, all of my family and so many of my friends that I had from once upon a time were like, you sound like a fucking Yank. Oh, you're stupid. All this other shit. And then I was like, no, I don't. I'm actually trying to talk like a normal person, not like I've got marbles in my mouth. So it ended up being this weird balance of me listening to my Southern friends and being like, you guys sound like this. And then listening to my Northern friends and being like, you guys sound like this. And then being like, I'm not going to sound like an idiot anymore. But then I started drinking.
You know, the only time that I actually hear like any like Southern like shit in your voice is when you say anything that ends with a G, like nothing.
Oh, fuck that. It's an N. It's
like
everything.
Nothing.
Yeah, but that's
nothing.
But that's also.
But I hear the G like come out.
That's
see the G. It's the G right
street
here.
Cred.
That's the
street
G.
Cred. Street cred. Ain't nothing wrong with the little bumpy grind. Ain't no G's on that shit.
What up, Wes?
I want to see
Wait. Thanks for joining us again on your show. Yeah.
I gotta reel it in again. I dropped out there. My computer shut off. I forgot to plug in the power cord.
Rookie.
Yeah, but no,
that
but
shit happens though. It does happen.
We finished our.
It happens when you're in the middle of a set.
It really
Is it
wasn't
like
a Burning Man thing. It was.
You know that your computer's about to
No,
die.
we totally changed the subject while you were gone.
I know you did, but we finished. I think we finished that, and I was gonna say, I don't know about the rest of you clowns, but I gotta go feed my dogs. So,
All right.
Aww.
I love you.
Hey, we
I
can
love
do it
you.
again anytime.
Let's talk about
Let's
your
do
dog.
it tomorrow.
If I keep drinking, if I keep drinking these beers, and I won't get home till tomorrow morning. Well, I just won't go home. I'll just stay here. But it's probably a good idea, or I'm gonna have to clean up after the dogs. You know how that goes.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
But dudes, it was totally like I didn't even realize it's been 2 hours and 45 minutes, bro.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
We could sit here and do this forever.
I think this is the longest
Yeah,
one.
I was like,
and it's
I was like, yo, Peaslee talks all the time, but here I am.
So we just went over the limit, the new thing that you actually
we went over the 100 meg limit. Or
damn it! So we've been doing it in parts, and it's been like part 1, part 2.
Now we just blew it again, and we'll be doing part 1.
And he upped it, so I didn't have to do it. It's all
Okay,
good.
so we're on episode 16. Can we do episode 32 and we'll finish this conversation, or what?
No, we might do it before that. Like, yeah.
I'm down.
It was awesome. I actually, you guys are funny. Well, just because you're funny, but it's funny for the show today because I've, like I was telling Kelly, I think the less, well, I told you guys before we were on air, I'm like the less we plan this, the better it seems to work out. So it's
Ding.
again, it just boils down. It boils down to good people, man. That's what.
Yes.
Thank you.
Amen.
And the feeling's mutual.
The feeling is super fucking mutual.
before we jump off of here,
Please.
I do want to say this. So, Wes, we have been working on this breaks track for a little while.
I love you too.
Thank you. And we would actually like to send it your way. We've done mastering on it. I think it can be better. But we would like to send it your way to see how you feel about it. And we would really appreciate it. Where should we send that to? Or do you want to send us a private link so everybody that's watching this video is not like, I'm going to jump all over that?
Public.
Find Colin. He'll get you squared away. No,
Colin is. I'll send you a link.
I'm not serious. You could send it to me. I mean, but you know how it goes. Like if you send me a link, thanks for asking, because if you just send me a link like Facebook or some shit like that, like
forward it to me or Colin.
message, like it'll just get lost. It's not that I don't want to look at it or hear it; it'll get lost. So, yeah, that's great. And that's one of those things where like when you meet, I have definitely found for myself as well as for people that might want to get something to me, like as well as me wanting to get things to others. When you were going back talking about one of the things you were talking about as if it was as in grassroots, but it's really just meeting people, the face-to-face side of things, whatever. That's it's never going to go away, man. So I think anybody listening to that, those things are they're critical, man. You can do all the social whatever all day, and I think it's important. There's an aspect of it that's definitely even critically important. But when I end up getting things to people that actually listen to them, and then we make a deal out of it or whatever, it's almost exclusively been with people who I actually met at least once.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
There's just a certain part of whatever good is to you, there's just a certain part of meeting a person in the flesh that I think is almost required to kind of confirm that it's a full picture.
So when do you want us to fly out to California?
You guys are a trip, and we're still tripping here, just like we were that night at 10.
All right, next meeting, Shambhala.
Yeah.
Are we peacing out?
Wait, is that
drag your ass over to Electric Love Festival? But seriously, on your demo, so that to make sure, Kelly. Colin's the one that handles them, but if you don't know Colin or met him online, then Kelly can get it to him.
I'll
make sure he gets it to you.
Okay.
and he'll make sure that, you know, whatever you send is, you know, kept private, not all over the internet, whatever.
I mean, but the thing is if anybody's hung in for this long, they probably do deserve that link.
They probably do.
It's been
I still white label records.
You're gonna ask, but you're not gonna get it.
Well, there is no link.
I still white label records. It's not gonna happen.
I know.
There's no link. Like, you could go, anybody can go to the juicerecordings.com website and go to that page there and send one that way, and we'll get it. Like we do. Like, you might be surprised, like you as well as maybe anyone listening, like we get a lot of stuff. It's not as much as, you know, Dirty Bird might get, but we get a good amount of stuff, whether it's promos or just some communications or, you know, asking a question about something or demos. Like, among those 4 or 5 types of things, you know, we get a fair amount of communication. And then, you know, I will say this, we try to respond to it all.
You can.
Some of it's
well, we definitely look at it all, but I will tell you one thing. Like, we definitely look at it all if we feel like whoever sent it thought about it before they sent it.
That's a great point. That is a great point.
I'm being dead serious, because sometimes it can sound snobbish, and I have more of an
No, Wes. That is not snobbish. That is fucking running a business in a fucking intellectual and intelligent way.
My favorite thing.
That's not snobbish.
And as an artist, it's also
we like to think they at least thought about it.
I'm fine with what I'm saying. My point about snobbish was that there are individuals who may at first reaction think, oh, I sent some shit, they didn't reply. But my point to people is, before, and this just all goes back to like thinking a little bit more before you make your public judgment of stuff, is, you know, did I actually take the time, and this is how I like to look at things. Did I take the time to put together you know, a message or content to give to somebody that's worth the time that I am expecting them to spend on it?
Did you do your homework?
Exactly.
And if we feel like you didn't do shit, then we'll look at it, but we may not answer.
Yeah.
Yep.
As well, you shouldn't answer.
Right.
Because you guys are fucking busy. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. We all got work to do here. Ain't nobody trying to chew up time.
Yep. Even though we shoot up 2 hours.
We got 2 hours and 45 minutes.
That said, anybody who's still here to the end, almost 3 hours in, is like, what are they talking about? Wasting time. They just spent 3 hours talking.
We've got some people on here right now. There's people.
Oh, you could have listened to my demo right now.
Exactly. Right.
Play it now.
I really look forward to these like chats and the shows, because believe it or not, I think every one of them except for maybe one has been with people I've met in person, and believe it or not, it's like if you do travel a good amount for whatever reason, you meet people, and so often I find you get their number, their name, and you really never reconnect again. And that's all part of this for me too. It's just fun to hear more things. It's fun to do it when we're not necessarily at a loud concert or party. Sometimes you can't talk.
It's a lot easier to communicate, for sure.
You don't talk about the same stuff. Yeah, I mean, here, shit, we can walk all over each other. We can stumble on each other. We can cut each other off, whatever, you know, through our little internet connection. It's just a different thing. But anyway, bottom line is, the faithful listeners, totally appreciate you. Hope you're having fun, getting something useful out of this stuff. I try to at least get something useful out of here. And to
what a waste of 3 hours with us, dude.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Well, yeah, but you know what? I'll tell you what. My point about meeting people on the road is that, in the same sense, when we talk about like old school, or you know, we talk about Burning Man 10, 20 years, whatever, and you talk about friends. Let's talk about friends. 30 years ago, you first of all would probably not have traveled more than a car drive away from your hometown ever, and And that would be it. And so you would sit on your porch and chat with people. And the majority of your close friends would probably be people you grew up with or right there in the vicinity. So nowadays, that's different. You know, you meet people out there, you only get one day or an hour to chat or a minute and a half. And then, you know, they might be fun friends to talk to, like you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know,
don't tell anybody that. You're going to ruin our rep, though.
No, but how awesome is this? Because for me, hopefully for you guys, Kelly has fun sometimes anyway.
I'm not fun ever.
Look, man, you know, like
I don't believe that one day.
San Diego, I love to sit on the patio, have a beer, hang out, talk with, but that's not all my friends that I'd like to do that with. And so this show has enabled me to be able to do that and learn some super cool stuff in between.
Yeah.
And like make better friends with those people.
And it's been our fucking pleasure to actually kind of be a part of that, like kind of sitting on your porch, like having a couple of drinks and making it happen. So here's the plan, though. Like in the next few months, like we're gonna buy Kelly a plane ticket out to San Diego, and we're gonna come visit you, and we're gonna actually sit on your fucking porch and have some drinks and kick it.
Look,
as long as you're okay with that.
As long as you're okay with that, because it is.
There's porches and barbecue grills. So
he's got a garage.
And I also know that
garages are awesome.
Real quick,
and a patio.
I also know that we're about to cut this thing, but I do want to say this. We've been doing this shit for a long time, almost 3 years, and I absolutely appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart for allowing us to come in and sit and chat with you guys, and like taking 2 grassroots artists and coming to you guys and just being able to be ourselves and get ourselves out to the world, like no matter how big or small it may be. Like here we all are sitting and chatting. Thank you, Kodiak, by the way. We love you.
Thank you, Kodiak.
Yeah, big shout out to fucking Kodiak. Kodiak is the man.
But I
Jarl,
I love that dude.
He's responsible for
Wes. Thank you so very much.
The jellyfish continuum.
What?
He's responsible for, these were designs. These are
the jellyfish continuum.
Well, these were actually, it's really crazy. Like these are from an album cover. I don't know if anybody watching or y'all know this, but those are from an album cover back early last year. And then the Gen Z from Zero Tribe in St. Louis made those for me when I came there to play based on the album cover. And then I made some other ones. And then when I met Kodiak, he saw these, and I was working on making the big ones that you might have seen recently that I took to Burning Man. And then Kodiak helped, you know, as you saw them at Serendipity. So
the jellyfish, they were so awesome.
Dude, they were fucking super tight.
Yeah, he and Brack helped me get that.
Didn't he the shit though? Kodiak, solid.
Yeah, totally the shit.
That's how I got to Serendipity, was through those guys. They helped me kind of navigate.
That's how we met you. That's how we're here.
How to make that work. And on that note, speaking of your decommodificationized asses,
that was him.
In October, while we are talking about commodification, I think we're going to do it in October. We're going to do our swagathon. That was my one announcement I forgot to announce, so stay tuned for that.
Okay, swagathon. When is that?
Probably October. We'll probably do it for the whole month of October. We got some super secret stuff planned.
All right.
Sweet, dude.
Ooh, I like super secret.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Keep us posted and we'll spread the good word, dude.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so very much. We fucking absolutely love and appreciate this opportunity.
You have no idea.
It means the world.
It's been
hell yeah,
fucking awesome.
It was.
I know you got to go feed your dog. Should we just fucking call it quits or what?
Sally, parting words?
Parting words. If I'm going to commodify myself right now, but if you guys want to go to a regional burn this weekend on Friday, there's PEX event that I'm playing, and that's the Philadelphia experiment. So come on out and listen to some good music and learn some of the rules of that. Oh, and by the way, Bass Hector says,
Supa Frost, you got any parting ice cold thoughts?
Yeah, come check us out. You can go to Supa Frost. You can do Supa Frosted Funk on SoundCloud.com. And you can check us out on Facebook at Supa Frost. You can do a little looking. We try to keep ourselves under the ground and shit. But you'll find us. I did a little show as to what our shit looks like. But yeah, come find us. And if you have any regional burns, anybody is looking for bookings, just hit us up, man. And we will be more than happy to send you some info and make all the good things happen.
Awesome.
I just want to say fucking thank you.
Thank you.
That's been awesome.
Just to thank you.
Sitting in my living room, smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, fucking
Thank you,
having
everybody.
Conversations.
There's no commodification. Thank you, everybody. Mother Earth, green flag, apple.
Don't forget to align your chakras.
We will commodify the shit out of this motherfucker.
Zero commodification. Hey,
next time at West.
Hey,
next year, Burning Man. Throw frisbees. You're not selling them, dude. You're giving them away, dude. They're gifts, dude, and we need them.
Stay tuned for those.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about, dude.
They're gonna be cool. They're right here live. You can
set up a disc golf course. Yes. Set up a disc golf course. Boom.
I gotta get out. I gotta go.
All right, bye, guys.
Love you. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Peace
Thank
out.
you so much.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Later, people.
Guns, bitches, and weed.
Later, fuckers. Smoke a ball.
Where the ghost of down and on walk the road my forefathers walked, climb the trees my